Flying the sword source stones had encountered misfortune. Enough of this nonsense. Perish. Ji Xian's fingers converged, releasing a stream of sword energy that instantaneously cleaved the master in two. Expanding his consciousness, he probed deeper into the sect. Indeed, in a grand hall on the back mountain, he sensed a sword embryo emanating imperial intent. Ouch, that hurts. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Many surviving disciples crawled from the rubble, glancing around in confusion. Occasionally, someone would spot the master's lifeless body. Heavens, the master has been slain. A voice exclaimed. The remaining disciples rushed forward, gazing in horror at their master's corpse. Who is that in the sky? They are the ones who killed the master. The disciples raised their heads to gaze at the two figures, their eyes brimming with animosity. Ji Xian shook his head, hovering in midair. As he stepped towards the back mountain, not a soul remained. A few chilling words echoed forth. Indeed, Ao Tian clasped his fists in salute. In the background, anguished cries rose and fell in a tragic symphony. The disciples of the 10 Absolute sect were enduring a horrific massacre. Ji Xian advanced step by step, reaching the vicinity of the back mountain of the 10 Absolute sect. Even the towering heights of the sect's back mountain, when compared to the soaring Jinyun mountain, appeared merely as a modest mound of earth. With a flick of his finger, Ji Xian breached the formation within the hall. A resounding crash echoed as half a wall crumbled under the force of his kick, revealing an abundance of treasures before him. A dazzling array of sacred artifacts glimmered on the shelves, radiating vibrant, divine light. Ji Xian, however, chose to disregard these distractions and pressed deeper into the interior. At the center of the grand hall lay a dormant, sword embryo. It had evidently endured the passage of countless years, its surface coated in a layer of dust, the blade marred by numerous chinks, and the crystal on the hilt shattered. Yet, a potent imperial aura still coursed through its exterior, undiminished by time. Ji Xian infused it with a trace of quasi-imperial sword intent, and the sword embryo immediately emitted a faint, shadowy glow. From time to time, a spectral figure of a woman in azure emerged, gracefully hovering before Ji Xian. She regarded his handsome visage and instinctively offered a greeting. You have arrived. Chapter 88. Qiong. Subduing the sword spirit, the ethereal figure of the woman in azure floated languidly, her eyes half closed, gazing serenely at Ji Xian. He inquired tentatively, have we met before? The azure-clad woman remained silent as she detached herself from the sword embryo and glided towards Ji Xian. The apparition was faint, nearly transparent, yet her beauty appeared strikingly real. She resembled the woman they had encountered within the sword sheath. Her delicate brows arched gracefully, her fair visage radiant, her figure lithe and alluring. The azure woman circled Ji Xian thrice, suspended in midair. Something feels amiss. I sense a familiar aura. Suddenly, she lunged directly towards Ji Xian, grasping his lapel. Her nose nestled against his chest as she inhaled gently. You are. Ji Xian stared in surprise at the sword spirit's apparition resting upon him. Are you the sword king of this generation? Why do you bear such a resemblance to the sword emperor? The azure-clad woman looked up at Ji Xian, her enigmatic eyes blinking. Ji Xian gently pushed her away. Yes, and yet, not quite. The woman's expression turned peculiar as she pouted. A riddle. How vexing. Crack. A sound emanated from the elevated platform within the hall, as the sword embryo enclosed in its box suddenly fractured into two. Perhaps it was the sword spirit's departure or the toll of time that caused strands of sword intent to disperse and swiftly evaporate into the air. Buzz. The spectral figure of the sword spirit dimmed slightly, supporting her waning form with her hand as she slowly approached the sword embryo. Compared to before, her presence had grown even fainter. What has happened to you? Ji Xian hurriedly stepped forward to assess her condition. There were still many questions left unexplored. He could not bear to witness the dissolution of the sword spirit's apparition. I am the spirit of the sword, yet the essence of the blade has long since vanished. I now struggle to maintain my ethereal form and shall soon dissipate. My appearance before you has exhausted my final vestiges of strength, the woman replied. How could one as magnificent as you, the spirit of an imperial weapon, be constrained by a mere vessel? Ji Xian inquired, puzzled. The woman in green shook her head. The time reversal from the ancient celestial era has destroyed everything. Even with unparalleled mastery, one cannot compare to the might of time. Although I have been nurtured by those sword guardians for countless millennia, the erosion of time has taken too great a toll on me, preventing any substantial recovery. Were it not for this, I would not have been captured by those minor cultivators of the sacred realm. Ji Xian pondered, manifesting a sword imprint at his fingertips and embedding it within the woman's being. The imprint quivered, resonating with the divine king's sword imprint within Ji Xian's sea of consciousness. Innumerable perfected sword principles surged into the green-clad woman, solidifying her soul's shadow. The woman gasped in astonishment at this act. The imprint from this man in white was akin to the nourishment provided by those villagers' sword source stones over 1,000,000 years. You are indeed the Sword King body, she exclaimed, her expression ablaze with excitement, as if she had unearthed a rare treasure. Ji Xian smiled gently, shaking his head. He was no Sword King body, the second Sword King body since the Sword Emperor had emerged. What is your name? The woman in green asked. Ji Xian, he replied. Ji, do you hail from the ancient Ji clan? Though I share the surname, I have no ties to them. How could one who is not of the Ji clan bear the Ji surname? The woman raised her delicate brows, a hint of confusion in her eyes. Ji Xian chuckled inwardly at her words, pondering whether the Ji surname was indeed a monopoly of their clan. The woman nodded, saying, "You are not mistaken. That is indeed the case. The Ji clan has been a prominent family since the ancient times, the highest authority of the ancient celestial court. In that era, any significant action across the 9 heavens and 10 earths required the clan's consent to proceed." Ji Xian clicked his tongue in astonishment. He then smiled and inquired, "How do they compare to the Sword Emperor you mentioned?" The woman in green pouted in response, "Do not be absurd. The era of the Sword Emperor came millions of years after the ancient celestial court. The two cannot be compared. After the Ji clan suffered the calamity from the foreign realm, they fell into decline and have struggled to regain their former glory. Thankfully, their deep-rooted heritage allows them to endure, making them one of the foremost families in the 9 heavens and 10 earths." The woman tapped her chin thoughtfully, continuing, "However, if one must draw a comparison, I still believe the Sword Emperor surpasses them. After all, he personally discovered the legendary Celestial Gate and set foot into the realm of immortality." Ji Xian recalled the profound starry gate behind the Heavenly Sword Palace. "What is your name?" He pressed further. "Nameless and without a surname, I am simply Qiong." She inscribed a grand character in the air. "I have existed for millions of years, having changed numerous ultimate vessels, yet my name has remained unchanged. It is a pity for the Sword Emperor, who, in his quest for immortality, ultimately faced backlash and met his demise." At the mention of the Sword Emperor's death, Qiong's expression dimmed, and tears welled in her eyes. As Ji Xian's gaze darkened, he pondered inwardly. Based on her assertions, achieving immortality in the vast expanse of the 9 heavens and 10 earths appears nearly impossible. Despite my unparalleled talent and the advantage of a system, I cannot disregard the influence of the overarching environment. This woman, having existed for an extensive period, must possess secrets unknown to me. Refining her into a sword spirit is indeed a commendable option. With a crack, the sword fetus shattered completely, transforming into a fine powder. It is time for me to depart. Although my sword intent has surged somewhat, without a vessel to nourish it, I will ultimately dissipate." Qiong wiped away her tears, a bitter smile adorning her face. Ji Xian inquired, "Wouldn't finding a new vessel allow you to survive?" Qiong, tears brimming in her eyes, was amused by Ji Xian's jest. "Do you think imperial weapons and supreme artifacts are as common as cabbages? The imperial weapons possessed by the ancient immortal court, which dominates the 9 heavens and 10 earths, are exceedingly rare." Ji Xian, observing the plethora of celestial artifacts and imperial weapons within his system's repository, fell into contemplation. He ventured, "If I were to provide you with a suitable sword, would you be willing to become my sword spirit?" Ji Xian remained silent. "You should focus on your cultivation instead, striving to attain the imperial path. When you inevitably face the pursuits of powerful clans in the future, it is essential to possess a means of self-preservation," Qiong remarked with a light laugh. Suddenly, a radiant light flashed, and a simple ancient sword materialized in Ji Xian's hand. It bore no superfluous embellishments, its handle a deep bronze, and its blade a lustrous silver. Everything was exceedingly unadorned. Yet, this very sword emanated an aura of unparalleled might and sword intent. Qiong's eyes widened in disbelief. "Where did you acquire such an imperial weapon?" she inquired, gently caressing the blade, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "You didn't unearth some emperor's grave, did you? But that seems implausible." Qiong scrutinized the sword closely. "Have you come to a decision?" Ji Xian inquired with a grin. Qiong's delicate face darkened momentarily, her expression awkward as she realized her words had been too bold. "You ought to abandon the thought. The karmic burden you would bear from our union is immense, unless you possess the potential and strength to attain the imperial throne." She aimed to dissuade Ji Xian from his intentions. Ji Xian pouted. "Indeed, women are all the same." He then swept his right hand through the air, invoking the heavenly domain, and a silvery screen appeared. In due course, an ancient, majestic palace emerged within it. This was precisely the form of the heavenly sword palace as envisioned in Ji Xian's mind. Upon recognizing the scene, Qiong's heart trembled, as if struck by lightning. Is that not the heavenly sword palace, meticulously refined by the Sword Emperor himself? Where did you see it? The heavenly sword palace was clearly destroyed. Ji Xian responded, "At the end of the sword path, I traversed the imperial road." Qiong, upon hearing this, nodded, lowering her gaze, muttering something inaudible. "Could you share what realm you were in when you embarked on the imperial road?" she asked earnestly. The weight of the white-clad man before her had significantly shifted in her mind. "The refinement of spirit realm," Ji Xian replied. "What is the refinement of spirit realm?" Qiong asked, somewhat perplexed. "Is not the lowest realm in the world the saint realm?" Ji Xian shot her a glance. "There exists the mortal realm beneath the saint realm. The refinement of spirit realm is indeed one of the mortal realms." She appeared to grasp it, albeit only partially. From the moment she was forged, she was destined for the throne of the Quasi-Emperor. The cultivators she frequently encountered by the side of the Sword Emperor were predominantly of the Quasi-Emperor and Great Sage caliber. As for the mortal realm, it was a concept she could scarcely recall. "Very well, I shall grant your request." After much hesitation, Xiong acquiesced to Ji Xian. The Sword King's body, the enigmatic sword mark, the crossing of the imperial path from the mortal realm, the knowledge of the location of the heavenly sword palace, and the concealed trump card. Ji Xian held immeasurable value to her, far beyond estimation. Subsequently, the two engaged in a master recognition ritual. Xiong transformed into a streak of flowing light and entered the sword of immortal slaughter. My goodness, Ji Xian, your magnificent sword is truly delightful. Xiong exclaimed repeatedly. What do you call me? Master? Chapter 89. The idea of establishing a sect. The atmosphere within the grand hall grew awkward. Ji Xian cleared his throat lightly. You may call me young master instead. Master sounds rather strange. Xiong nodded in agreement. Yes, young master. Young master, I actually have another request. Speak. Might I ask if young master could provide protection for the sword guardian lineage? Xiong inquired. Upon hearing this, Ji Xian habitually stroked his chin, deep in thought. Xiong continued. That lineage has dedicated 1,000,000 years, expending countless heavenly materials and human resources, leading to the absence of a sage realm cultivator within the clan. Currently, they are in decline, with few able-bodied men left, making propagation exceedingly difficult. Very well, I shall grant your request, Ji Xian replied. After a further discussion between the man and the sword, Ji Xian rose and exited. After traversing numerous corridors, Ji Xian returned to the main hall. Amidst the ruins of the 10 Absolute Sect, in addition to the corpses of disciples and elders, several robed cultivators were now bound to a pillar by a thick dragon-binding rope, unable to move. Ao Tian had transformed into his true form, leisurely soaking in a sacred spring, casually blowing bubbles. Upon seeing Ji Xian emerge, he soared into the air, radiating glimmers of golden light. So it is indeed the true Dragon Clan. Xiong was astonished that such an ancient celestial race still existed. In a flash of golden light, Ao Tian reverted to human form, clad in shimmering golden armor and wielding a long spear. Young master. Ji Xian waved his hand, signaling him to rise. What is the situation with those individuals? Ao Tian glanced back. Just a few passing bandits. Our sect's annihilation has caused quite a stir, attracting them here. Ji Xian felt a twinge of suspicion. Through his earlier conversation with Xiong, he learned that there were dozens of small sects near Jinyun Mountain. Most were righteous factions. So why were the bandits so rampant? Could it be that, like the 10 Absolute Sect, they were fostering bandits to plunder and exploit the common folk? That possibility cannot be dismissed, Ji Xian murmured. Since he had acquiesced to Xiong's request, he felt compelled to address the bandit issue. Ji Xian seized a few of the bandits. Which faction do you serve? One bandit with a shifty gaze sneered. What is it to you? I advise you to let us go while you still can, or you'll find yourself in dire straits. We all reside in the Jinyun Mountain area. None shall spare the other. If you continue this way, other sects will surely unite to eliminate you. Indeed, to ensnare us is a trivial skill. Can you contend with the formidable powers surrounding Mount Jinyun? Several bandits echoed in agreement. Oh, it seems you concede. Ji Xian's eyes turned cold, and he tightened his grip around the bandit's throat. Bang, bang, bang. Blood splattered, and flesh scattered as several bandits were obliterated by Ji Xian's overwhelming presence. What followed was a soul-searching process, during which he gleaned the desired information, confirming his suspicions without a doubt. The force behind the marauders was none other than the various sects surrounding Mount Jinyun. As Ji Xian pondered, Ao Tian was fixated on the sword, Zhan Tian. At his side, Xiong, wishing to avoid the intensity of his gaze, quietly retreated behind Ji Xian. Young master, there is actually another matter to discuss, she said. May I inquire if you could impart your swordsmanship to me? Ao Tian asked, his voice soft. Ji Xian was taken aback. You, a primordial race relying on physical prowess, seek to cultivate a weapon like the sword? Ao Tian lifted his gaze towards Mount Jinyun behind Ji Xian, his eyes filled with longing. Just moments ago, the great mountain trembled, emanating a supreme sword intent that resonated within me. Then, Ao Tian extended his hands, palms open. Ji Xian looked down to find a sword mark in the center of Ao Tian's palm. This place is indeed extraordinary, he mused. Xiong, seemingly aware of Ji Xian's thoughts, emerged from behind him, revealing her sword form, hovering beside Ji Xian. Surely, young master, you have sensed the remarkable qualities of this mountain, she remarked. Ji Xian nodded in affirmation. This mountain, known as Jinyun, was once a dojo of the Sword Emperor. Eons ago, it was the site where the first cultivator attained true immortality through the sword. The Sword Emperor intended to emulate him, seeking enlightenment through the sword, Xiong elucidated. Oh, no wonder the sword intent within me responded. This is indeed the Emperor's dojo, Ji Xian realized. He then countered. But how has the Emperor's dojo fallen into the hands of a few minor sects? Xiong replied. The Sword Emperor's influence is profound and subtle, and few can perceive it. Located at the fringes of the 3,000 Dao states, Mount Jinyun naturally garners little attention. These small sects merely exploit the mountain's formidable terrain and auspicious feng shui to establish their presence. Upon hearing this, Ji Xian cast a few surprised glances at Ao Tian. He had not anticipated that this young man possessed such talent for sword cultivation. Very well, I shall impart a sword technique to you today. Ji Xian retrieved a book of quasi-imperial level swordsmanship from the void and handed it to Ao Tian. Thank you, young master. Ao Tian promptly accepted it. The gift is bestowed upon you, but the task must be yours to fulfill, Ji Xian stated. Please, enlighten me. Ao Tian urged. Ji Xian activated the celestial domain of creation, inscribing certain memories of the bandits into a replayable memory stone, which he promptly handed to Ao Tian. This serves as evidence of the surrounding sects harboring bandits. Confront them one by one, demanding they vacate the lands of Mount Jinyun. Should they refuse, eradicate them all. Ao Tian paused. Young master, forgive my candor, but if we wish to expel them, why not simply strike them down? Why go through such trouble? Ji Xian turned his back, facing the towering Jinyun mountain that pierced the clouds, and smiled as he spoke. In the past, during our travels, we were free from the burdens of reputation. Now that we are about to establish a new home, it is only prudent to pay attention to the maintenance of our prestige. Ao Tian gazed at the Jinyun mountain before Ji Xian, seemingly struck by a thought. His body shivering with excitement. He exclaimed, My lord, are you perhaps considering establishing something here? If so, do take a few treasures for yourself. Bring back the rest to enrich our stock. Indeed, Ao Tian breathed heavily, eager to soar into the skies and visit the surrounding sections. Take these 2 puppets with you. Ji Xian commanded with a wave of his hand, causing 2 formidable puppets of the Sacred Master Realm to materialize beside Ao Tian. Their imposing figures adorned with radiant divine rings, exuding an overwhelming aura. After issuing further instructions, Ao Tian departed with great enthusiasm. My lord, do you intend to establish a sect here? Qiong inquired softly. Yes. The vastness of the 9 heavens and 10 earths is overwhelming. With my current cultivation, I could spend a lifetime without fully exploring it. Wandering aimlessly is not a solution. It is better to carve out my own territory and gradually cultivate it. Ji Xian replied. Wow, I didn't expect you to take on disciples. With your meticulous nature, I thought you were a lone wolf. Ji Xian shot her a glance. Next, we must secure our residence. System, summon the eternal city of immortal Dao. Chapter 90, Xiantian Dao Sect Boom. A tremendous sound resonated from the peak of Jinyun Mountain, shattering the clouds that hung halfway up the mountain. Through the thin veil of clouds, Ji Xian vaguely glimpsed an ancient city standing majestically in the sky. This was the city from the sword of immortal slaying, leaving Qiong astonished. How could such an ancient city, imbued with the essence of the immortal Dao, suddenly appear on Jinyun Mountain? Such a phenomenon had not been witnessed in a million years. Could there be some unknown secret hidden here? My lord, what is happening? She cautiously inquired. It is merely my Taoist sanctuary, Ji Xian replied, sheathing the sword of immortal slaying, and then rising on a divine rainbow, soaring high above the clouds. Ji Xian beheld the full splendor of the immortal city. The ancient city was vast, stretching for countless miles, seemingly endless. Its walls were adorned in hues of azure gold and silver gray, grand and majestic, shrouded in a mystical mist. With a thought, Ji Xian commanded the gates of the ancient city to swing open, and he leisurely stepped inside. Thud! The sound of the gates slamming against the walls echoed like the drums of antiquity. The streets on either side were desolate, devoid of passers-by, lending an air of solitude. Ji Xian levitated into the air to survey the entirety of the ancient city. Apart from the front section, which housed buildings for habitation, the rear was an expanse of mountains and plains, a labyrinth of diverse terrains. Most striking was a celestial mountain at the center. From the peak of the celestial mountain flowed a long river, cascading like a splendid Milky Way, winding through half the city. There, atop the celestial mountain, a radiant light caught Ji Xian's attention. Was it a building? Harnessing the power of the Lihua golden eyes, he discerned the nature of the brilliance. It was a magnificent palace, its walls shimmering with the brilliance of precious gems. From a distance, it shone like a pearl within the mouth of a true dragon. Ji Xian soared over the vast urban landscape, flying directly towards the palace. He pushed open the grand hall's doors and approached the elevated throne. The throne, standing nearly 10 feet high, seemed crafted specifically for him. As he settled upon it, Ji Xian felt an imperceptible aura of imperial power enveloping him. In that moment, he resembled a sovereign gazing down upon the world. The celestial city had been established. What name should it bear? Ji Xian murmured to himself. Suddenly, the system interjected. Ji Xian's expression darkened, realizing it was about to meddle once more. What do you want? I did not summon you. Isn't the host seeking a name? And what of it? Can you offer me a reward? Of course, a good answer merits a reward. Now that is more like it. Ji Xian closed his eyes momentarily, whispering, shall I name it Xiantian once more? Friendly reminder. The system will automatically disregard names like Xiantian Sect, Xiantian City, Xiantian Gate, Xiantian Pavilion, Xiantian Holy Land, and the like. Ji Xian retorted. Then perhaps this sect should not be established at all. After pondering for a considerable time, he grumbled, why impose additional difficulty? What am I to name it if you dismiss all my ideas? With a calm demeanor, Ji Xian began to explore the interior of the palace. Ethereal rhythms descended from the intricately carved beams, soothing the mind and spirit. What about the Xiantian Dao sect? Impressive, your skills are improving. Ji Xian received a notification, Reward distribution in progress. Congratulations, host. You have received a complete set of celestial-grade protective formations, 2 celestial beasts, white jade cheilants, and 1 celestial-grade spiritual vein. Several rewards, imbued with the essence of the celestial realm, materialized within the system's space. Ji Xian stepped outside to prepare for the subsequent arrangements. He raised his right hand, and a projection of a foot-long spiritual vein appeared in his palm, flowing with purple mist, suffused with celestial energy. The domain of creation unfolded, and Ji Xian swiftly comprehended the structure of Jinyan Mountain and the celestial city. He divided the spiritual vein into 2 equal parts, placing them accordingly. His plan entailed designating the celestial city as the inner sect and making slight adjustments to Jinyan Mountain for the outer sect, with its periphery intended to welcome future citizens and cultivators under its protection. Once the spiritual vein was arranged, the spiritual energy within the sect grew denser. With many plants exuding droplets of precious celestial liquid, Ji Xian retrieved a large green cauldron. The Jade Emperor cauldron that had been returned upon the bestowal of the dragon pattern cauldron from the lower realms. The cauldron, an ancient ceremonial vessel, was specifically used for heavenly sacrifices. It could also harness the power of mountains and rivers, directing spiritual energy and stabilizing the fortunes of a region. After a series of operations, Ji Xian held dominion over the spiritual energy of the entire celestial city, subsequently arranging the Yaoshan Mountain and its protective formations. Finally, he was left with the 2 white jade cheilants, both of which were quasi-empirical beasts. Ji Xian extended his hand, and the 2 creatures lowered their heads, approaching him with remarkable gentleness. Resembling the mythical Qilin, they had the head of a dragon and the body of a lion, adorned with a robust bovine tail. Their fur was immaculate, shining as bright as white jade, and their dual horns glimmered with silvery radiance, exuding an aura of utmost auspiciousness. Under the enlightenment of Ji Xian, the 2 beasts awakened their intelligence and obediently took their posts at the gates. Is the sect's name confirmed as Xiantian Daozong? Ji Xian replied indifferently, yes. The void trembled with a low hum, as a vast wave of sacred power surged forth like a tsunami, spreading across the wilderness. This was the manifestation of the sect's fortune, subtly representing the future of a formidable power. In the lower realms, various disciples raced through the secret realms, contending against a multitude of prodigies and ferocious beasts. Suddenly, a sound of energy valves activating resonated from several individuals. An enigmatic force surged into their bodies simultaneously. Although their realms did not elevate, the purity of their souls, true qi, and martial prowess surpassed previous levels by several folds. It was the blessing of fortune. Ing Zheng, seated in the royal palace of the Qin kingdom, was the first to react. Holding the dragon pattern cauldron, he manipulated the fortune of the central region. Feeling an uncanny familiarity with this sensation, this type of fortune did not seem to be gathered by an individual. Could it be that the master has established a sect in the upper realm? Ing Zheng pondered, as if hearing his thoughts. Ji Xian transmitted a message to all disciples. We hail from the Xiantian realm. Today, I established the Xiantian Daozong. You must remember this sect and not let it down. The vastness of the 9 heavens and 10 earths is immense, and the forces of calamity have begun to manifest. A great age of contention is about to unfold, with prodigies emerging from all directions. Only with formidable strength can one suppress all. Cultivate diligently, strive to ascend to the upper realm within 10 years, and I shall carve out a realm of freedom for you. Ji Xian's words resonated like divine sounds within the hearts of the crowd, igniting their spirits and filling them with excitement. Yes, they fervently echoed within their hearts. From this moment on, they too were children of a family. At a prominent sect in the wilderness, the master of Xiang inquired of a middle-aged man, have you sensed the unusual activity at Jinyan Mountain? The man, crowned with a purple star and enveloped in flames, exuded a majestic aura akin to the sun. Reports from disciples indicate that disturbances have arisen from the direction of Jinyan Mountain. Several nearby sects have either been slaughtered or expelled from their residences. The white-robed elder gasped. That lineage has been inherited for nearly 100,000 years. How could this happen? It is said that a new power has emerged, clearing the area to communicate with something at Jinyan Mountain, replied the master of Xiang. Something? The elder pondered. Could it be related to the recent disturbances? The master of Xiang nodded, recalling that long ago, rumors circulated that Jinyan Mountain was the domain of a great power, but after several fruitless explorations, it was forgotten by many sections. With the appearance of this sign, it is likely that a great secret has come to light. What shall we do? The elder inquired. Jinyan Mountain originally contained a rich reserve of source stones, and with the potential emergence of a rare treasure, I shall personally take action, the master of Xiang declared. You will personally intervene? The elder was taken aback. Here stood a man capable of traversing half the wilderness, yet he intended to personally confront an unknown minor power? Transmit my orders, prepare the forces, and we shall depart for Jinyan Mountain in 7 days, he instructed his disciples. Yes. Meanwhile, not only the Xiang sect was preparing, other major sects were also commencing their actions. There are those who venture forth for alliances, and others who seek treasures, each harboring ulterior motives, restless and eager. At the pinnacle of Mount Jinyun, Ji Xian was absorbing the essence of the sun and moon, diligently working towards a breakthrough, utterly unaware of the turbulent currents brewing beyond. Chapter 91. The arrival of the Holy Masters. The emergence of the purple flame in the early morning. The summit of Mount Jinyun was shrouded in mist, with celestial clouds rising splendidly. Ji Xian sat cross-legged upon a rock, near the cascading celestial spring, enveloped in the baptism of ethereal rhythms. With the first rays of dawn piercing through, a muffled sound resonated within him. Boom! The vast holy power transformed into streams of dragon energy, surging into his wheel of vitality. After a month of consolidation, his cultivation had finally ascended to the third level of the Holy Master realm. At this moment, a sound transmission talisman from Ao Tian flew through the void. Young Master, the nearby sects have been thoroughly cleared, and the arrangements for the Sword Guardian tribe, as you instructed, have also been completed. This fellow is quite efficient, Ji Xian remarked with a smile. As the morning breeze swept by, the mist swirled, and the figure atop the mountain vanished. At the foot of Mount Jinyun, Ao Tian marveled at the newly erected structures. The ruins of the 10 Absolute Sect and the remnants of the dead had been meticulously cleared, replaced by clusters of ancient buildings. The scale of the sect rivaled that of prominent families and sections. With a flash of light, Ji Xian's figure materialized before him. Young Master, all forces near Mount Jinyun have been eradicated, except for those who willingly chose to relocate, Ao Tian reported, presenting a bulging storage bag. Inside were numerous storage rings. And after scanning them with his divine sense, Ji Xian bestowed several top-tier sacred artifacts upon Ao Tian, casting the rest into the treasury of the Celestial City. In the next moment, Ji Xian's mind shifted, as if sensing something. Hundreds of miles away, several caravans slowly approached. The Holy Masters of various sects converged at a valley entrance. Purple Sun Holy Master, I did not expect to see you here, remarked a red-robed cultivator. The Purple Sun Holy Master clasped his hands. Crimson Sky Holy Master, it has been a century since we last met. Indeed, may I inquire what brings you here? Purple Sun? Crimson Sky Holy Master inquired. I have come to investigate the disturbances at Mount Jinyun, the Purple Sun Holy Master declared, his crown of sunlight flickering, exuding an aura of authority without anger. Crimson Sky Holy Master frowned. It appears a substantial portion of the spoils will be redistributed. I shall not conceal my intentions from you, my friend. I too have come for this purpose. Let us pay a visit to this new force together. Please, Purple Sun. After a round of cordial exchanges, the remaining Holy Masters hastened towards the Xiantian Dao sect. The gorge was long and deep, its terrain steep due to the influence of Mount Jinyun. Soon, several factions arrived at the gates of the Xiantian Dao sect. Under Ji Xian's guidance, the outer sect of the Xiantian Dao sect had been established. A golden plaque hung majestically above the towering entrance, radiating brilliant light. To dare name themselves a Dao sect, what audacity! Crimson Sky Holy Master remarked coldly, eyeing the plaque above the main gate. The Purple Sun Holy Master nodded in agreement, acknowledging the significance behind the naming conventions within the realms. The great sects dare only to name their powers with a single suffix. Those who have the audacity to designate their sects with the characters of Dao, Saint, or Emperor are invariably those of transcendent lineage. However, the Xiantian Dao sect appears rather desolate beneath its mountain gates, lacking the vibrant scene typically associated with a Daoist sect. Given this, it is hardly surprising that they are targeted by other sections. Contemplating this, the various saints in their hearts established an image of righteousness for themselves. With a creak, the tightly shut door was opened a crack, and a golden-haired, blue-eyed youth stepped out. Ao Tian faced the saints, exuding not a trace of anxiety. Calmly, he stated, "Esteemed leaders, please follow me. The sect master has been awaiting your arrival within." Upon hearing this, the saints exchanged glances, their hearts slightly startled. Even though their traveling entourage was ostentatious, the interior of the carriage was inscribed with powerful formations, making it difficult to detect. The fact that the sect master could foresee their movements was indeed unexpected. The saint of Qitian murmured to himself, impressed by the youth's capabilities. Under Ao Tian's guidance, the saints entered the grand hall. Ji Xian sat majestically in the position of sect master, his expression calm, clad in pristine white, untainted by dust, surrounded by an ethereal aura, exuding an air of transcendence. The saint of Qitian spoke first. The Qitian sect has heard of your esteemed sect's establishment and has come to pay respects under the banner of harmonious neighborliness. The saint of Xiang also clasped his fists in greeting. I am the saint of Xiang, here to pay my respects. One by one, they took their seats on either side. Ji Xian surveyed the assembly, aware that approximately 7 or 8 factions had arrived, and he could surmise their intentions. He spoke, I appreciate the efforts of all fellow Taoists for coming. However, I am curious as to the purpose of your visit. The saint of Xiang responded, It seems you are a person of decorum. Thus, let us be forthright. Is it perhaps inappropriate for you to call your sect the Dao sect? Ji Xian's brow furrowed slightly, his disposition shifting. Why must they insist on questioning his naming? What was their intent? The saint of Xiang continued, The Dao sect is a standard designation for transcendent powers. I observe that your mountain gates are rather modest. Does it not seem a bit presumptuous to bear the name Dao sect in the territory of Jinyan Mountain? The other saints, upon hearing this, noted that the Daoist had been clearing out all factions surrounding Jinyan Mountain, intending to monopolize the area. Was he not being overly ambitious? A smile graced Ji Xian's lips as he realized the crux of the matter. His actions at Jinyan Mountain had indeed attracted the covetous eyes of these lesser beings. Am I unworthy? And you, are you deserving? Ji Xian scoffed coldly, rising to his feet. Since both parties were aware of the underlying implications, there was little left to discuss. The Saint of Zhang narrowed his eyes, a murderous intent surfacing. No one had ever dared to speak to him in such a manner. The Saint of Qitian snorted, such audacity. Just having established your sect, you dare to insult the Saint of Ziyang. Clearly, you do not understand the rules. Those saints harboring thoughts against the Xiantian Dao sect echoed their agreement, instantly heightening the tension in the room. With his white garments billowing, Ji Xian turned his back to the assembly and declared, the Xiantian Dao sect conducts its affairs without needing to answer to anyone. Whether it involves extinguishing the powers surrounding Jinyan Mountain or monopolizing the treasures within, it bears no relation to you, a mere rabble. The various saints were mockingly referred to as a rabble by Ji Xian, their expressions turning a shade akin to that of liver. Among those present, who was not a renowned powerhouse in the desolate lands, how could they endure the insults of an emerging faction? Such audacity! The purple sun saint roared, as a purple divine sun manifested above his head, unleashing a wave of heat that swept outward. An invisible force enveloped Ji Xian, counteracting the flame's warmth. He sensed something and turned to gaze at the great sun above the purple sun saint. To his surprise, it was the purple flame from the five-colored fire. He had already gathered 2 colors and needed 3 more to forge the supreme, true fire. Clearly, this individual held clues regarding the purple flame. Foolish wretch! Do you not realize the consequences of provoking the myriad sects? Barked the Red Heaven ancestor. Ji Xian smiled, surveying the room and noticing that several saints had no intention of engaging. Today, I offer you an opportunity. If you truly wish to befriend me, I shall accept you, and you may leave at once. As for the others, Ji Xian's eyes glimmered with azure flames, exuding a searing heat, yet radiating a chilling aura. The saints felt a constriction in their hearts, as if they were being scrutinized by a primordial beast. Destructive sword energy swiftly filled the grand hall, instilling a sense of dread. Should you harbor any thoughts against my Xiantian Dao sect, you shall remain here forever. In the grand hall, the saints contemplated their next moves. Quietly summoning their treasures, the atmosphere tense with anticipation. Some saints retreated discreetly to the hall's exterior, wishing to avoid the conflict. The purple sun saint's expression darkened in response to Ji Xian's provocation. It appeared that today's circumstances were beyond reconciliation. The red heaven saint slowly rose from his seat, delicately wielding a treasure hairpin that shimmered with radiance. Ji Xian chuckled lightly. You dare to run rampant in my territory and expect me to compromise? You deserve death. Such audacity! The red heaven saint thundered. The saints no longer concealed their intentions and collectively launched their assaults. They summoned an array of formidable sacred artifacts, including a bronze pagoda about a foot tall, a copper mirror radiating prismatic light, and a Vajra pestle infused with traces of lightning. Each treasure was extraordinary, imbued with vast sacred power, and surged toward Ji Xian. In the face of this fierce onslaught, Ji Xian remained composed. Activating the Immortal Sutra as a faint golden veil enveloped his body. With a single step forward, he unleashed a flurry of golden punches. An unstoppable force cascading forth like a tsunami, instantly dispersing the domain formed by the sacred weapons. The expressions of the saints in the rear shifted dramatically. They could hardly believe someone dared to withstand the might of the sacred artifacts with mere flesh. Suddenly, a dark golden streak shot forth from an inconspicuous corner, swift as a serpent emerging from its lair, imbued with murderous intent. The red heaven saint bellowed, "You insignificant wretch, having offended all of us saints. Do you still wish to live? Prepare to die." Ji Xian cast a sidelong glance at the poisoned treasure hairpin launched by the red heaven saint. So fond of ambushes. Then you shall be the first to fall. With a swift motion, Ji Xian's hand became like a blade, severing the hairpin in an instant, before vanishing from sight, leaving only an afterimage behind. In the next moment, a golden fist descended from the heavens, striking directly at the Qitian Saint Lord. With a resounding thud, he was caught completely off guard, his body obliterated by a single blow. "Qitian!" cried the Ziyang Saint Lord, astonished by the unexpected demise of his comrade. "Do not shout. You shall be next." Ji Xian replied coldly, extinguishing the Qitian Saint Lord's essence with a mere flick of his hand. His gaze then shifted to the Ziyang Saint Lord, intent on making his next move. "Protect the Ziyang Saint Lord." The other saints bellowed. The Ziyang Saint Lord was a pivotal figure in the region of Huangzhou, holding significant influence among the various sects. They could not allow him to be slaughtered before their eyes. Once again, several weapons imbued with holy power surged forth. Ji Xian chuckled. "Do you truly believe I cannot shatter your trifling artifacts? How arrogant! Who do you think you are to speak of destroying holy armaments?" The saints retorted sternly. Ji Xian offered no further argument, reaching out to grasp 3 of the weapons. Clang, clang, clang. A flash of golden light erupted, followed by the sound of metal crumbling. The holy weapons lay scattered, stripped of their luster, reduced to mere scrap. The onlookers were left dumbfounded. Among cultivators of the Holy Realm, even with a disparity in cultivation levels, it was inconceivable to casually destroy holy armaments. Each piece was forged through countless trials and was exceedingly resilient. Unless confronted by an extraordinary weapon, holy armaments could not be shattered. Yet this man before them had obliterated them with his bare flesh. Was his body truly comparable to an extraordinary weapon? As the others stood in a daze, Ji Xian had already appeared before them. This is bad. They gasped in horror, hastily raising their hands to defend themselves, but it was too late. Bang, bang, bang. The saints who stood in front were transformed into pools of blood. It is your turn. Ji Xian's expression remained calm as he regarded the Xiang Saint Lord, his eyes glimmering with murderous intent. The Xiang Saint Lord clapped his hands. To be able to single-handedly slay several saints, you indeed possess some skill. However, this is where it ends. Without the Holy King, I am invincible. With that, the great sun re-emerged, radiant as a constellation, illuminating the dim hall. Xiang divine art. The flames enveloped Ji Xian in an instant. A saint outside the hall remarked, "It's over. It seems this Taoist brother is likely doomed." Instantly, someone countered, "Not necessarily. This white-robed Taoist possesses formidable strength, having shattered holy armaments. He may not fall to the Xiang Saint Lord." The first saint replied, "But those were merely holy armaments. I have heard that the purple sun above the Xiang Saint Lord is crafted from the eye of a quasi-emperor of the demon race, having already touched the threshold of an extraordinary weapon." A collective gasp of astonishment escaped the other saints. No one dared to continue discussing the matter. It had surpassed the limits of their understanding. The Xiang Saint Lord gazed coldly at Ji Xian amidst the sea of flames, a smile playing upon his lips. "This great sun is at least half an extraordinary weapon. I refuse to believe you can shatter it by sheer force." Yet the ensuing spectacle left him utterly speechless. The purple heat wave did not incinerate Ji Xian into cinders as one might expect. Instead, it clung to him like a docile kitten. How could this be? The holy master of Xiang felt a tightening in his chest. In an instant, the blazing sun lost its control and obediently settled in the palm of Ji Xian's hand. The holy master of Xiang continued to retreat. If the Ji Xian from moments ago had posed a threat, the current Ji Xian was undoubtedly an untouchable demon lord. "Why can you suppress me from the essence of the fire path?" He finally sensed something amiss. Ji Xian did not directly address his question, but stated, "Answer my question clearly, and I might consider sparing your entire family. Where did you acquire your purple flame seed?" The holy master of Xiang's gaze darkened. "I will tell you, but you must promise not to kill me." Ji Xian smiled. "Very well, I hold my promises in high regard." The holy master of Xiang nodded. 1,000 years ago, I discovered this flame seed along the eastern coastal region of Wanyao Prefecture and combined it with a treasured heirloom to forge this formidable weapon." Ji Xian murmured. Wanyao Prefecture is located in the eastern part of the Wild State, a corner of the southeastern region of the 3,000 states, dominated by the forces of the Demon Clan. Ding. The disciple collecting location has been refreshed. Next stop, Wanyao Prefecture. The system's notification resounded suddenly. "Indeed, it is an opportune moment," Ji Xian remarked with a smile. "Fellow cultivator, you may now release the holy master of Xiang for questioning." "Oh, that is not possible. The current me is not the same as before. The promise was made by the Ji Xian of moments ago, and I have since changed my mind," he said with a radiant smile. "Damn it." The holy master of Xiang cursed vehemently, only to be swiftly dealt with by Ji Xian, meeting a bitter end. Outside the hall, the other holy masters trembled, recalling Ji Xian's earlier command for them to depart, now accompanied by this new proclamation. "You few, come here," Ji Xian beckoned. The holy master at the forefront quivered in fright. Observing their demeanor, Ji Xian felt exasperated. "I am indeed a person of my word, mind you. In a few days, I shall depart, and with a shortage of manpower in my sect, I have no time to raid these few factions myself. Thus, I entrust this task to you." Ji Xian gestured towards the scattered corpses on the ground. Perhaps I exerted too much force." The holy masters exchanged glances, as if caught in a dream. "Of course, I shall not make you toil for nothing. The final outcome will be a division of 2 to 8, with 8 for me and 2 for you." Ji Xian seated himself in a nearby chair, regarding the individuals before him. Sensing Ji Xian's genuine intent to entrust them, the holy masters agreed to the task. "Then it is settled. Very well, you may leave." Ji Xian waved his hand, signaling them to depart. The group exchanged incredulous looks. This white-clad cultivator truly wished to befriend them. Their objective had been achieved so effortlessly. After expressing their gratitude, they left with a substantial retinue. Ji Xian remained seated, retrieving the mixed-element purple gold gourd for a sip. Ao Tian approached with a beaming smile. "Young master, you truly are remarkable. With this dual approach, you have established both reputation and authority. Henceforth, the troubles of the sect in the Wild State shall be temporarily resolved." Ji Xian smiled gently, beckoning him to come closer. As Ao Tian approached, it felt as though a thunderbolt struck the back of his head. "You know too much. Quickly prepare the sedan. We are heading to Wanyao Prefecture." Yes. Chapter 93. Wanyao Prefecture. A gathering of heroes at the border of Wanyao Prefecture. An ancient war chariot forged from black gold thundered across the earth, resonating with a powerful rumble. Young master, we are about to enter the territory of Wanyao Prefecture, Aotian announced, skillfully wielding the long whip while focusing on driving. Proceed, Ji Xian replied, engrossed in an ancient text within the chariot. As they crossed into Wanyao Prefecture, an invisible tide of force washed over them, causing discomfort. Ji Xian frowned. You must have sensed something as well, young master, Xiong's voice suddenly chimed in. Do you know what this is? Ji Xian inquired. We have reached the edge of the 3,000 Dao states. Beyond this lies the legendary Wooding Divine Sea. The Wooding Divine Sea is level with the 3,000 Dao states, a realm among the 9 heavens and 10 earths, and a place shrouded in mystery. Our arrival coincides with its tidal phase, hence we are encountering the reverse currents of yin and yang, Xiong elucidated. Ji Xian nodded, deepening his understanding of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The war chariot continued its gallop across the land, where scattered cultivators were traveling in nearly the same direction. Half a day later, an ancient city appeared on the horizon, radiating a spectrum of neon lights. As they drew closer, the number of passing cultivators noticeably increased. Their attire and appearances varied, clearly hailing from distant lands. Numerous sects were also making their way here with great fanfare. A multitude of divine carriages soared through the sky, racing like shooting stars, while luxurious chariots closely followed on the ground. Suddenly, a powerful gust of wind signaled the arrival of a massive flying vessel. Entirely golden and shimmering with divine light, groups of fierce beasts trailed behind the vessel, each carrying formidable knights. The procession floated above the ground, just a few yards from the heads of pedestrians. As it passed, the roars of the beasts reverberated through the air, stirring up gusts that tousled the hair of onlookers. The pedestrians glared in anger. What force is this, so domineering? Do they think Wanyao Prefecture is deserted? A beast cultivator exclaimed indignantly. A nearby companion quickly covered his mouth. Warning, be cautious with your words. These are the people from Sacred Beast Mountain. They specifically hunt down cultivators like you. The beast cultivator trembled. Sacred land? Why would they come here? A human cultivator whispered. The tide of the Wooding Divine Sea is approaching. Chaos is inevitable in Wanyao Prefecture. They likely aim to seize some powerful beasts during this turmoil. As Sacred Beast Mountain passed, Ji Xian felt a probing divine consciousness. However, the focus was not on him, but on Aotian, who was driving ahead. Additionally, many other divine senses probed, yet they were all swiftly crushed by him. The winds of change were stirring. Ji Xian took a delicate sip of wine and continued to peruse the ancient text in his hand. The ancient city was known as Niao City, one of the most prosperous cities in Wanyao Prefecture. The city, true to its name, is enveloped in a resplendent glow of vivid neon lights, exuding an air of opulence. An ancient chariot slowly rolls into the heart of the city. On the bustling streets, throngs of people brush past one another, mingling harmoniously with beings of otherworldly origins. The vendors on either side shout fervently, their calls echoing through the air. The two travelers find respite in a nearby tavern, a sanctuary amidst the clamor. Inside, the atmosphere is lively, with numerous cultivators clad in armor, gathered to share drinks and camaraderie. Notable powers have indeed made their presence felt. A flicker of perception from Ji Xian reveals several unusual auras among the crowd. He deliberately selects a quiet spot by the window, savoring his drink while appreciating the view. The discussions in the hall are rife with speculations surrounding the fluctuations of the unstable divine sea. Ji Xian listens intently, captivated by the intriguing conversations and secretive tidings. Suddenly, the door of the tavern is thrust open with force, and a bloodied man stumbles in, collapsing onto a table. Waiter, bring the wine. He gasps. The cultivator's shoulder is shattered, one arm completely lost, merely bandaged in a hasty manner. The sight of his grievous condition sends ripples of alarm through the patrons. Are you all right, brother? I have a healing elixir, a kind-hearted soul inquires, stepping forward. No, I'm merely unfortunate. I fled in haste, and had no time for treatment. The one-armed cultivator declines the offered remedy. What calamity befell you? A newcomer, eager for local insights, presses for details. The man takes a sip of his drink, gritting his teeth as he recounts. I encountered a demon ape, gravely wounded while contesting it for treasure. Demon ape? That name rings a bell. A cultivator at a nearby table responds. It is steeped in overwhelming demonic energy, wielding an unyielding iron rod. In its long form, it resembles a towering pillar. In its short form, it is akin to a silver needle, exceedingly difficult to contend with. The injured cultivator continues. Ji Xian listens closely. The description of the demon ape striking a familiar chord. Brother, you seem familiar. Were you not part of the expedition to the Jade Dragon Cave a year ago? Someone recognizes the one-armed man. Indeed, he affirms. Was there not a leader among your ranks at the Saint Master level? How did you end up in such dire straits? A heavy sigh escapes the one-armed cultivator. That Saint Master fell victim to the demon ape's iron rod within 10 exchanges and was struck dead. I am the sole survivor. The remaining dozen Saint Masters perished. Gasps of disbelief ripple through the crowd. A Saint Master was killed outright? A complete annihilation of your team? Brother, You surely did not encounter the self-proclaimed heavenly sage monkey, did you? A demon clan cultivator rises to inquire. All eyes turn toward him. That creature is a blight upon our Wanyao prefecture, wreaking havoc unchecked, and none can subdue it. At that moment, a discordant voice arises from another table. The inability to subdue it merely reflects your own shortcomings. A human cultivator clad in animal skins rises, slamming his hand upon the table. The demon cultivators present feel a sense of affront. Who do you think you are? Do you not realize this is the domain of demon cultivators? A demon cultivator retorts fiercely. The beast-skinned cultivator turns, casting a cold glance in response. In the Sacred Beast Mountain, we specialize in capturing unruly little demons. And our current mission is to seize that magical ape. As he spoke, the beast-skin cultivator produced a vessel resembling a water jug. This jug, known as the demon refining pot, is specifically designed for the capture of demons. The demon cultivators present were filled with dread, their very souls trembling at the sight of the artifact. There is no need for concern, for creatures of your ilk are not worthy of our attention at Sacred Beast Mountain. The beast-skin cultivator stowed away the demon refining pot. He cast a sidelong glance at Aotian, who sat in the corner, a smile playing on his lips, rich with meaning. Aotian was seated opposite Ji Xian, holding a plate of stir-fried peppers and pork, mumbling, "Young master, should I go over and eliminate him now?" Ji Xian replied with a smile, "There is no rush. Not everyone has arrived yet." Aotian was at a loss. At that moment, the door creaked open once more, and a refined young man clad in purple sauntered in, flanked by two stooped elders and several young attendants. "What a grand occasion at Sacred Beast Mountain," remarked the young man in purple with a smile. The beast-skin cultivator turned around, his expression dripping with disdain. "And who might you be to speak to me in such a manner?" The young man in purple, his robes billowing gracefully, responded nonchalantly, "From the Ji family, Ji Mingho." The mention of the Ji family silenced the once boisterous tavern, as patrons laid down their utensils, afraid to breathe too loudly. The ancient Ji family, like a searing iron, was deeply etched in the hearts of the crowd. This family had once basked in unparalleled glory across the realms. Ji Mingho was one of the current holy sons of the Ji lineage. Many in the room gazed upon him, eager to behold the visage of the holy son. The Sacred Beast Mountain's air stood frozen, realizing he had just dared to confront a holy son of the Ji family. Thud! He promptly knelt, panic-stricken, and exclaimed, "I am Lu Meng. Having never met the holy son before, I apologize for my offense. I beseech you to spare me." Lu Meng trembled, beads of sweat cascading down his forehead. The guardians of Sacred Beast Mountain behind him sighed inwardly. To provoke the ancient Ji family meant that even a lineage as venerable as Sacred Beast Mountain, with its millennia of heritage, could suffer dire consequences. Today, it seemed, would not bode well. Ji Mingho, draped in purple, furrowed his delicate brows. "As a descendant of a sacred lineage, is this all the spirit you possess? Rise, I shall not take your life." His unexpected response astonished everyone. The guardian behind Lu Meng quickly stepped forward to bow in gratitude. "Thank you, Holy Son, for your great mercy." The overwhelming majority of cultivators present expressed their admiration for Ji Mingho's magnanimity. The two stooped elders behind him nodded in approval, casting appreciative glances. "This newly appointed Holy Son, though young, possesses a commendable character," one elder remarked softly. Indeed, another elder coughed lightly. At that moment, Ji Mingho was revered like a precious gem, looking down upon all with an air of dignity. Suddenly, a derisive chuckle echoed from the corner. The assembly turned to see a golden-haired, blue-eyed youth seated there, adorned with two verdant dragon horns atop his head, his fair complexion suggesting he was of similar age to Ji Mingho. He lifted a wine jug and took a generous swig. What a farce. Just moments ago, one had boasted of stirring the successors of the sacred land of Wanyao Prefecture, only to kneel before an insignificant early-stage saint. What a disgrace. The atmosphere momentarily thickened. Who on earth is this? With a single utterance, he has offended both the sacred land and the Ji family. A cultivator gasped in shock, apprehensive. By heavens, it appears he is of the demon race. We must expel his demon status at once. Let it not be said he belongs to Wanyao Prefecture. The Ji family, incensed, declared that even 100 of Wanyao Prefecture would not suffice to confront them. Some demon cultivators were exceedingly furious. The scene grew increasingly awkward. The once revered saint, akin to a radiant moon or a precious pearl, was suddenly reduced to being trampled upon by mere words. The two elder figures behind Ji Mingho furrowed their brows, their anger mounting. "You dare, young one." They both projected their intent, aiming to subdue the golden-haired youth on the spot. Ji Xian, with a flicker of his mind, countered much of the mental assault. Yet, a few threads of that mental energy seeped through, striking out Yin. He felt as if he were being pierced by a million steel needles, the scales upon his body loosening slightly, as the ethereal energy left crimson marks upon his form. Clearly, Ji Xian had not intended such harm. "Young master, we had just agreed. I shall handle the insults while you protect me." Out Yin grimaced in pain, his expression one of grievance. Ji Xian's lips curled into a slight smile as he remarked, "When I said you could insult, I merely meant a few light jabs." Who instructed you to trample upon the dignity of the sacred land and the family? Such a venomous tongue. Who did you learn it from? I seem to recall not teaching you this. Their conversation, devoid of secrecy, was distinctly audible to all present. How exceedingly brazen. Which faction possesses such audacity? The practitioners from the sacred land were incensed. If Outyan's earlier remarks had humiliated the Ji family and the sacred beast mountain, then their blatant exchange now served to grind the faces of all present from the sacred lands into the ground. The elder behind Ji Mingho wore a grim expression, ready to unleash his wrath. The Ji family must not be insulted. Suddenly, a melodious female voice rang out, Wuliang Tianzuan. Junior brother Mingho, it has been a long time. Upon hearing this, Ji Mingho turned to see a female Taoist clad in a gray robe approaching. Her hair was elegantly pinned up, devoid of any adornments or extravagance. Exuding utmost simplicity, each step she took resonated with the rhythm of the Tao. It was none other than Sister Wumiao. Ji Mingho clasped his fists in greeting. Having trained under the Taoist sacred land for several years, where Wumiao had cared for him, Junior Sister Wumiao, I pay my respects to the two esteemed elders of the Ji family. Wumiao Taoist also bowed to the two elders behind Ji Mingho. The elders' expressions softened at last. The Taoist sacred land is among the foremost powers in the 3,000 prefectures, and such respect must be accorded. Wumiao, observing the elders cease their threatening gestures, let out a sigh of relief. Should two cultivators of the sacred master realm engage, it would spell doom for all present today. In the next moment, numerous individuals rose to pay their respects to Ji Mingho. Among them were the princes of ancient empires and the heirs of various esteemed lineages. The demon cultivators in attendance could only watch in astonishment. In the Wanyao prefecture, various tribes faced a formidable adversary this year, and it seemed that the tidal wave would yield little benefit. Indeed, the mere presence of the ancient Ji family was suffocating, not to mention the multitude of sacred grounds. Numerous demon clan cultivators vented their grievances. Ji Mingho exchanged pleasantries with Wumiao, responding to the greetings, yet his gaze frequently darted toward the corner where Ji Xian sat. Why did the spatial laws in the void converge towards this individual? Could it be that he practiced an ancient scripture related to space? Ji Mingho was perplexed. Possessing the void sword body, he was highly sensitive to spatial fluctuations. As he approached the tavern, he noticed that the spatial laws in the void autonomously gravitated towards one point. It was improbable. The only known ancient scripture pertaining to space belonged solely to the Ji family. Could this person possess a unique physique, or perhaps a treasure? Ji Mingho extended his consciousness, hastily probing Ji Xian. After an extended examination, he remained utterly bewildered. At that moment, Wumiao mentioned the stone gambling venture to him. Senior sister, what brings you to the stone gambling house? Ji Mingho inquired, perplexed. I heard that a purple fire seed emerged in Wanyao prefecture, and someone stumbled upon it in the stone gambling house. It is the chilly fire necessary for alchemy, and I wish to try my luck. Junior brother, you cultivate the Ji family's ancient scripture and possess the insightful eye. You can certainly assist me in strategizing. Wumiao smiled. Ah, stone gambling. Ji Mingho suddenly realized. He could invite that white-clad man to gamble on stones and explore his spatial abilities. With this thought, he strolled toward Ji Xian in the corner. Ao Tian, observing Ji Mingho's approach, turned to Ji Xian and asked, Young master, shall I fan him? Ji Xian remained silent. Under the gaze of all present, Ji Mingho, clad in purple, stood before Ji Xian. Chapter 95. Alas, I have yet to board the car. The atmosphere within the tavern was exceedingly delicate. The assembly was baffled as to why the esteemed Holy Son would stoop to invite this white-clad man to accompany him. Ji Xian raised an eyebrow, inwardly reflecting. It seems this young Ji seeks to probe my intentions. What a muddled hierarchy. He then pointed at Ao Tian, saying, Defeat him, and I shall accompany you. Ao Tian recoiled. Young master, are you trying to set me up? Beneath the wooden table, Ji Xian gave him a kick. Did you not just say you would fan him? Ji Mingho paused, shifting his gaze to Ao Tian, his eyes ablaze with combativeness. The crowd reacted with outrage at Ji Xian's response. This individual was utterly outrageous. How could he negotiate terms in the face of an invitation from the Ji family's Holy Son? Dare to reveal your name. I shall certainly visit on behalf of the sacred ground. One cultivator from a sacred ground indignantly proclaimed. Among them, a cultivator allied with the Ji family brandished his weapon, ready to strike. Aside from the wooden table in the corner, chaos erupted throughout the rest of the tavern. The elders of the Ji family glared from the back, exuding an aura of murderous intent. Silence. Ji Xian's cold voice rang out. With a sweep of his hand, his consciousness surged forth like a tidal wave, transforming into a torrential water curtain that swept across the tavern. Bang, bang, bang. Weaker cultivators were directly hurled several feet away, sustaining grave injuries. The individuals who invoked their magical artifacts for self-preservation merely felt a resounding echo resonate within their minds. As the crowd regained their composure, they marveled in astonishment at the piercing insight of the Ji family's Holy Son. This man clad in white was undoubtedly a formidable expert. Ji Mingho turned to the two elder men and reassured them. Uncle, there is no need for concern. Mingho has his own means to cope. Only then did the elders withdraw. In the center of the tavern, a stone platform had been meticulously arranged, reinforced by a formation capable of withstanding the clashes of practitioners at the saintly realm. Before departing, Ji Xian imparted a few words of wisdom. Ao Tian and Ji Mingho stepped forward, bowing to one another in mutual respect. Time seemed to momentarily stand still. Bang! Both combatants sprang into action simultaneously. Ao Tian transformed into a streak of golden light, charging forward with his golden fists, unleashing a torrential downpour of fist strikes. Ji Mingho, possessing a unique physique that allowed him to master spatial manipulation, radiated streams of light that merged with the surrounding space, rendering him almost ethereal. Clang! The golden fist met the sacred weapon with a deafening sound. As a member of the True Dragon clan, Ao Tian's physical prowess was unparalleled, effortlessly countering Ji Mingho's void sword techniques with his claws. Conversely, Ji Mingho, as the holy son of a prestigious family, exhibited an array of ingenious tactics. He skillfully evaded several of Ao Tian's heavy blows through his adept understanding of spatial principles. For a moment, the two reached a stalemate. A resounding dragon's roar echoed through the arena. Unwilling to prolong the engagement, Ao Tian decisively conjured a dragon claw, channeling the essence of the true dragon. The dragon summoning hand. A massive claw emerged from the void, imbued with golden sacred lightning, plummeting like a meteor. How could this be the aura of the true dragon? Ji Mingho stood in stunned silence, observing Ao Tian's display of power. The Ji family possessed a complete true dragon carcass, and as the holy son, he had naturally examined it. The essence emanating from this golden-haired youth bore an uncanny resemblance. 16 Swords of the Void. Without hesitation, Ji Mingho activated his ancient scriptures, re-engaging in combat. Ji Xian, seated in a corner, intently scrutinized the duel, utilizing the void to wield a sword. This is the essence of the void sword body, he pondered. Intrigued by Ji Mingho's unique constitution, this young man could indeed serve as a bridge for communication between him and the Ji family in the future. Alas, Ao Tian's bloodline was too pure. Even in his non-transformed state, he could easily overwhelm Ji Mingho. Suddenly, Ji Xian's attention was drawn to a particular corner of the crowd. Not far away, several elders from the sacred beast mountain donned animal skins, their focus unwavering as they observed Ao Tian within the arena. Indeed, the aura of this creature is that of a true dragon. I confirmed it while outside the city. One elder proclaimed. Lu Ming exclaimed, "Elder, could it truly be a true dragon?" The elder shook his head. Impossible. A true dragon is exceedingly rare, beyond the capabilities of our sacred beast mountain to command. This dragon is likely a variant serpentine creature bearing a trace of true dragon bloodline. When the battle reaches its conclusion, let us act decisively to capture him. The others nodded in agreement. Lu Ming hesitated. The Holy Sun seems to have taken a liking to that individual. Would it not be inappropriate for us to intervene? Fear not, the elder replied. I possess a teleportation talisman infused with the essence of the ultimate path. Once our objective is achieved, we shall make our swift escape. Even the Holy King would be unable to stop us. Moreover, the alliance between one person and one dragon has incited public outrage. The Ji family would not allow two strangers to provoke enmity with my sacred beast mountain and the various holy lands. Lu Ming nodded in agreement. Very well. The elder handed the talismans to Lu Ming, instructing him to cooperate in the endeavor. After a brief discussion, the two awaited in silence. Moments later, a sea of golden light surged forth, overwhelming the purple glow. The cultivators present were struck with astonishment. This demon clan cultivator was indeed overpowering the current holy son of the Ji family. Where did he originate from? Those who had just proclaimed their intent to expel Ao Tian from the demon registry now found themselves frozen in place. This fellow is exceptionally formidable. When did Wanyao Prefecture produce such a powerhouse? Ao Tian gasped for breath, his youthful visage already adorned with intricate dragon patterns. It was exhausting to unleash his full power without transforming into his true form. Why does my lord not permit me to assume my true form and deliver a thorough beating to him? Ao Tian recalled Ji Xian's instructions, filled with confusion. Outside the arena, Ji Xian maintained a vigilant gaze upon the individuals from Sacred Beast Mountain. Following his line of sight, Ao Tian turned towards a corner. Now is the moment to strike. The members of Sacred Beast Mountain, swift and astute, promptly deployed 6 magical artifacts, conjuring a vast net that descended toward them. Young dragon, do not delay in surrendering. Several elders clad in animal skins swiftly soared forth, attempting to ensnare Ao Tian within the net. The golden net gradually descended, and Ao Tian felt his scalp tingle. The blood of the true dragon within him began to boil like water. Just as he was about to transform and confront his foe, a figure clad in white streaked in from the side. My lord, Ao Tian recognized Ji Xian. Dressed in fluttering white, with hair dancing in the breeze, Ji Xian wielded his hand like a blade, cleaving through the holy artifacts, rendering them mere scrap metal. What? The elders were filled with dread. Retreat. Is that all the might of a holy land? Ji Xian unleashed a palm strike, the immense force surging forth like mountains and seas. Quickly summon the talismans. I am no match for him. The elders shouted to Lu Ming. In a flurry, Lu Ming activated the talismans, releasing threads of extreme aura that enveloped him. Ji Xian's palm strike approached, and under the impact of this force, several elders' bodies and souls were instantly shattered, annihilated. Hurry, activate it. There is no time. The surviving elder bellowed. Lu Ming hastened to accelerate the talisman's activation. Next, he merely needed to select the elders, and they could instantly escape thousands of miles away. However, as he looked up towards the heavens, he locked eyes with Ji Xian's profound gaze. Hiss! Lu Ming sharply inhaled, feeling as though he had plunged into an ice cavern, as if the very world before him had been torn asunder. Run! He reacted swiftly, rapidly activating the talisman for a hasty retreat. The extreme aura ceased to spread, and the elders who had surged forward were halted outside the transmission barrier. Damn it, you little rascal, I haven't boarded yet. Open the door, quickly. An elder knelt upon the ground, tears streaming down his face as he pounded against the barrier. Another elder shouted angrily. Return, and have someone strip you of your Taoist identity. You cannot return. Ji Xian's cold voice rang out from behind, as piercing as the sound of death itself. With a series of thunderous explosions, several individuals were reduced to mere dust. Outside, smoke billowed, leaving chaos in its wake. The restaurant had been shattered by Ji Xian's palm strike, half of it obliterated, with only remnants of its walls standing defiantly. Upon the stone platform, Ji Mingho had been shielded, gazing in astonishment at Ao Tian and Ji Xian, murmuring incessantly, I have been defeated. As the smoke cleared, Ji Xian stood alone, calm and composed. The aura of the extreme path gradually dissipated, and Lu Ming vanished from sight. How could that brat escape? Ao Tian fumed, feeling deeply dissatisfied. The heir of the sacred beast mountain had been plotting against him from the outset, much to his chagrin. No matter, merely a saint, Ji Xian remarked nonchalantly. I shall pay a personal visit to the sacred beast mountain in due course. With a wave of his hand, Ji Xian summoned the power of creation. A rainbow of colors enveloping the scene, and the collapsed restaurant was instantaneously restored to its former glory, as if it had never been destroyed. Wu Miao, witnessing Ji Xian's extraordinary ability, was astounded. Even within the Dao Yi Holy Land, such a miraculous restoration technique was unheard of. Could it be that he is a disciple of a hidden, ancient sect? With this thought, Wu Miao stepped forward, her robe as white as snow, her skirts billowing gracefully. Esteemed senior, I am a disciple of the Dao Yi Holy Land, known as Wu Miao. May I inquire where you hail from? Ji Xian looked down at her, responding in a tone devoid of warmth. From the Xiantian Dao sect. Xiantian Dao sect? Wu Miao was taken aback. I have not heard of it. It seems to truly be a hidden, ancient sect. She beckoned Ji Mingho closer, smiling as she said, Ji Mingho actually admires you greatly. Hence he wishes to make your acquaintance. Though he has been defeated, the younger generation still hopes for an opportunity from you. Ji Xian habitually stroked his chin. The venture into stone gambling was shrouded in mystery, heavily imbued with the nature of chance. The stones varied in color, yielding treasures of differing value. The lighter ones might produce white stones or jade, while the heavier ones could unveil artifacts infused with the essence of the extreme path. If there is nothing else to occupy my time, I suppose I shall grant your request. Upon hearing this, Ji Mingho's eyes sparkled with hope, as if countless shadows had lifted. Thank you, esteemed senior. After confirming the time and place, they proceeded together. Along the way, no one followed them. Those from the various holy lands departed in search of opportunities, and the Ji family's guardians retreated into the shadows. The stone gambling house was situated in the heart of the bustling commercial district of Niao City. Unlike the extravagant scenes of other marketplaces, the stone gambling house commanded a higher cost of entry, resulting in a quieter atmosphere. This place was divided into 5 courtyards, with prices rising and rarities increasing as one ventured deeper. In the first 2 courtyards, Ji Mingho showcased his remarkable talents, excelling in the art of stone discernment. Possessing the insightful eye, he could perceive the nuances of many stones, thus acquiring a wealth of valuable source stones. This young man's talent and disposition are commendable. He could be of use in the future, Ji Xian mused, quietly praising Ji Mingho's exceptional performance. Though the prideful hearts of prodigies often brim with arrogance, Ji Mingho, despite being physically overpowered by Ao Tian and deeply affected, managed to maintain a steady resolve, which was indeed rare. His actions soon drew the envy of unscrupulous individuals lurking nearby. In a shadowed corner of the courtyard, a malicious gaze fixated upon them. In a mere half-hour, nearly 1 million premium spirit stones had been squandered. These individuals were indeed plump targets. Very well, let me host you splendidly and ensnare you for a hefty sum. Among the crowd, Wu Miao sighed repeatedly. After expending such a substantial amount of spirit stones, she was disheartened by the absence of the elusive purple flame seed. Sister, do not fret. Let us explore the inner courtyard. The odds of unearthing premium gemstones there are significantly higher, Ji Mingho consoled her. Wu Miao nodded in agreement. The group entered the 4th tier of the courtyard, where the stone materials were far fewer than in the previous areas, yet considerably more expensive. Upon stepping inside, Ji Xian sensed an unusual aura. He directed his gaze toward the source of the energy. In a corner, a stall displayed a collection of unattractive, murky stones. The surface of these stones emanated a chilling, shadowy essence, with wisps of black mist swirling around. Is this aura akin to that of the Black Hand? Ji Xian pondered. Recalling the perilous moments during his tribulation, he surveyed the stall and noted that these stones were largely unrefined, their treasures yet to be fully gestated. He then approached, weighing a piece of black stone in his hands. This stone was riddled with pores and cracks, resembling something gnawed upon by insects. Its surface was mottled with impurities, clearly not a rare find. How much for this stone? Ji Xian inquired of the stall owner. 300,000 premium spirit stones. I shall purchase it, Ji Xian declared, producing a storage ring, ready to hand it to the vendor. Senior, you absolutely mustn't. This is a ghostly shattering stone. It cannot yield anything of value. Ji Mingho hastily intervened. Alas, young man, are you aware that this contravenes the rules of the stone gambling house? Such actions may incite public ire, a discordant voice interjected. The crowd turned to see a three-legged golden toad, leaning on a staff and limping towards them. Its entire form gleamed golden, its stature diminutive. And it was missing a hind leg, presenting a rather grotesque appearance. As he stated, the surrounding stall owners and visitors regarded them with peculiar expressions. Oh, then enlighten me. How should this matter be resolved? Ji Xian chuckled lightly, sensing the ulterior motives of the little creature. Ji Mingho cast a disapproving glance at the approaching toad. Who dares to obstruct the Ji family? Perhaps a wager between us would suffice. Should either of us uncover a rare treasure, the other would pay several times the spirit stones. If I win, I will settle today's affair. If I lose, I shall pay the stall owner double the price. What do you say? The three-legged golden toad suggested with a grin. Senior, allow me to challenge him first. Ji Mingho stepped forward, finding the toad exceedingly distasteful. Very well. The two promptly began selecting stones, adhering to the rule that each could choose 5. Such a betting scenario was rare, drawing the attention of passers-by who clamored to place their bets. Ji Mingho's eyes shimmered with purple light, eager to discern the hidden treasures among the displayed stones. Strangely, the surface of these stones was shrouded in a mysterious mist, effectively obstructing my spatial perception. He became increasingly cautious, for standing behind him was Ji Xian, and he could not afford to embarrass himself in front of this esteemed elder. In stark contrast, the three-legged golden toad meandered carelessly around the stalls, selecting stones at whim. Before long, the stones had been chosen, and the onlookers had placed their bets, ready for the game to commence. The webbed fingers of the golden toad caressed the surface of the stones, golden light flowing from its fingertips. And numerous auras of gold and stone cascaded down like the delicate strands of willow. Simultaneously, astonishing changes were occurring within the stones. This was indeed the art of turning stone into gold, Ji Xian observed from behind, murmuring to himself. The stones here were mostly unrefined, not yet fully formed. This technique undoubtedly accelerated their growth, transforming refuse into treasures. Crack! Both side stones were cleaved open simultaneously, and there was no doubt that the golden toad emerged victorious. As a result of the wager, Ji Mingho lost nearly 10 million top-tier spirit stones. He retreated resentfully to the back. Well, young master, what shall we do now? It's our turn, the three-legged golden toad said, laughing heartily, having profited immensely. Indeed, you may select the stones, Ji Xian replied, a smile gracing his lips. The golden toad, as before, pretentiously selected 5 stones. However, Ji Xian remained motionless, still cradling the cracked ghost stone in his hands. What? Is this person really intending to compare a single cracked ghost stone with Brother Jinshan? Voices of skepticism arose from the crowd. TCH, what an obvious novice. Thinking himself so grand. A cultivator glanced over, scoffing disdainfully. Soon, the golden toad returned to his original position, surprised to see Ji Xian standing still, not choosing any stones. Could it be that this person truly intended to pit the cracked ghost stone against him? Turns out he is just a simpleton. The three-legged golden toad thought to himself, chuckling inwardly. Everyone, follow the bet. Bet on Brother Jinshan. The onlookers, having just tasted sweet success, began to place their bets heavily in one direction. Unexpectedly, Ji Xian suddenly spoke. Today, let me show you what true alchemy is. The three-legged golden toad felt a pang of uncertainty. How had this person seen through his methods? He continued to employ the secret technique he had just demonstrated. Meanwhile, Ji Xian's palm emanated a radiant spectrum of colors, enveloping the cracked ghost stone like a shimmering curtain of water. In an instant, the dark stone appeared to transform into a gem rich in hues of dawn. Could this be the power of creation? The Taoist Wu Miao beside him recognized the phenomenon with astonishment. Even if you see through my extraordinary technique, what of it? My elder brother is an essence of the heavens and earth, and the treasure technique he passed down to me is unbreakable. The three-legged golden toad gritted his teeth, waiting patiently for Ji Xian to act. Cut! Crack! The stones were simultaneously severed. Sizzle! Both side stones erupted with boundless brilliance, dazzling the eyes and radiating with splendor. Chapter 97. The task of accepting disciples refreshes in front of the gambling table. A burst of radiant light erupted, with streams of divine light shooting forth like blazing ribbons. All 5 of the golden toad's stones had been cleaved open. Before him, Two beams of silver-black light blossomed simultaneously. As the brilliance began to fade, the onlookers finally discerned the true nature of the treasured item. To their astonishment, it was comprised of Deluo silver essence and dragon-patterned black gold. An individual standing beside the golden toad exclaimed in wonder. Enveloped in a radiant glow, the silvery colloid and the black metal emerged from the stone debris. Exuding a sacred aura, the Deluo silver essence, about the size of a palm, glittered with a remarkable luster. Even more captivating was the piece of dragon-patterned black gold. Though merely the size of a watermelon seed, it incited fervor among the spectators. Dragon-patterned black gold is one of the paramount metals required for forging supreme weapons, and even the smallest fragment could drive the major sacred lands into a frenzy. The golden toad is truly extraordinary. The combined worth of these two treasures exceeds 20 million supreme spirit stones, someone remarked in admiration. The golden toad's mouth was stretched in a grin, brimming with pride. Meanwhile, Ji Xian maintained a tranquil demeanor, clutching the ghostly fissured stone in his hand. Hey, I say, young master, it's time to make your grand reveal. Let us see what you've got. The golden toad teased playfully. Ji Xian chuckled softly. Allow me to demonstrate. He summoned his secret power, causing the stone's outer layer to begin shedding automatically. A deep dragon-s roar resonated from Ji Xian's hand, followed by a blinding crimson sacred light. Ao Tian, not far away, perked up at the sound. What on earth? Is there a kindred spirit? Did the young master hatch another egg? He hurried to Ji Xian's side, eager to witness the transformation. In Ji Xian's hand, a spherical object slowly ascended, surrounded by a formidable dragon aura, emanating imperial intent. Countless scarlet dragon energies danced like serpents, momentarily engulfing Ji Xian in a wave of draconic breath. Was that a fruit? The golden toad shielded his face, unable to gaze directly at the dazzling light. As the radiance dissipated, a fruit, roughly the size of an eyeball, floated into Ji Xian's palm. At this moment, its aura became remarkably restrained. The entire fruit shimmered with a translucent brilliance, emitting a rich red light akin to agate. Within its depths, a dragon-shaped phantom was visibly swirling. How could such a potent aura suddenly emerge? The onlookers murmured, their hearts racing with unease. Could it be emanating from that fruit? One cultivator remarked, incredulous. The crowd buzzed with speculation. None had seen a fruit like this before, making it difficult to ascertain its true value. Yet, the aura of supreme energy surrounding it was undeniably thick, leading many to believe in its extraordinary nature. The golden toad clicked his tongue, puffed. It's merely a fruit. How can it compare to my dragon-patterned black gold? Hurry up, you feeble creature, considering the wager. That amounts to nearly 60 million supreme spirit stones. Bring it forth. As Ji Xian did not unveil anything of notable worth, the golden toad's tone shifted. Quickly now. I'm growing impatient. Someone in the crowd began to incite the masses, urging Ji Xian to pay the spirit stones. The gathering grew increasingly discontented. Having placed substantial spirit stones on the golden toad, they were loath to see Ji Xian reveal anything of value. Today, if no one recognizes it, the fruit in Ji Xian's hand, no matter how exquisite, remains devoid of value, utterly worthless. Jin Shan, filled with an overwhelming sense of superiority, chuckled incessantly. Make way. Make way. At that moment, an elder clad in resplendent garments emerged from the crowd, his chest adorned with a plaque inscribed with the words Master of the Workshop. How could the Master of the Workshop be here? He only makes an appearance once every millennium, the last time prompted by someone unveiling the supreme sacred gold. Surely, he couldn't be here for the dragon-patterned black gold, could he? Upon seeing the Master's arrival, Jin Shan hurried forward to greet him, presenting the piece of dragon-patterned black gold. Yet, the Master rushed past him, making a beeline for Ji Xian. The crowd was filled with astonishment. Could it be that the fruit was more precious than the dragon-patterned black gold? The elaborately dressed master collapsed to the ground with a thud, scrambling towards Ji Xian in a flurry. As he crawled, he muttered, "It cannot be wrong. It must be right. This is undoubtedly the fabled dragon yuan fruit." After a few stumbles, the master reached Ji Xian. "Friend, name your price, and I shall acquire this fruit without fail." His gaze fixated on the dragon yuan fruit in Ji Xian's hands, burning with fervor as if he beheld the most splendid treasure in existence. Jin Shan, perplexed, stepped forward to inquire, "Master, how could this worthless fruit compare to my dragon-patterned black gold?" The master turned around and spat disdainfully. "Away with you. This is an elixir of immortality. Even cultivators on the brink of the great sage would salivate at its sight." The master regarded Jin Shan with evident disdain. He continued, "You wretched toad, accustomed to relying on that unruly monkey behind you. I might have indulged you before, but today I shall yield not an inch." Jin Shan clenched his teeth, realizing he had unwittingly encountered an immovable obstacle. Meanwhile, Ji Xian examined the dragon yuan fruit. Initially, it had merely been a seed within the stone shell, but through Ji Xian's transformative power, it had blossomed into a fruit with millennia of medicinal properties. "Oh, pray tell, how much do you value it?" Ji Xian said nonchalantly. "I offer 100 million. At this, Ji Xian narrowed his eyes, a chilling glint flashing within them. You think to dismiss an elixir of immortality for a mere 100 million? Do you dare deceive me? No, I misspoke. It is 300 million. The master quickly corrected himself. Still, Ji Xian remained silent. 500 million. 600 million. With each increment offered by the master, Jin Shan's heart tightened further. Heavens! 5 or 600 million. If this gamble turns sour, I would owe him 3 billion spirit stones. I should make a hasty retreat. Meanwhile, the master had escalated his bid to 1,600 million. Ji Xian nodded. Friend, you have finally. The master's eyes sparkled with delight. Believing he would procure this elixir of immortality for a mere 1,600 million, converted to spirit crystals, that amounted to just over 10 million. Of course, this was also thanks to this friend's ignorance. Very well, I shall not sell, Ji Xian coldly interjected. The master? Did you not just nod? Ji Xian ignored him and shifted his gaze towards Jin Shan. Did you see that? The quoted price is 16 billion exquisite spirit stones. According to the odds, you must pay 6 or 7 times that amount. In simpler terms, it amounts to a staggering 100 billion. The golden toad's expression turned troubled, and his limbs began to tremble. How could he possibly produce such a vast sum of spirit stones? At that moment, Ji Xian spoke again. Of course, you can use the transmutation technique you possess to offset a portion of this sum. The golden toad grimaced, stammering. Young master, I truly cannot disclose this secret technique. Why? Because he dared not speak further. At this moment, he desperately wished for his elder brother to appear and rescue him. Suddenly, a cacophony of expletives erupted from the crowd. Make way for me, old son. Damn it, I'm talking to you. Shift your backside. I have no interest in you. People began to stir, seemingly wary of someone's arrival, the crowd parting like a wooden boat floating on water. From the revealed passage emerged a diminutive monkey demon, its fur a reddish-brown, carrying a slender iron rod that exuded a chilling aura as it swung it about. Ding! Apprentice recruitment task refreshed. Sun Huang, male, 3,184 years old. Talent: SSS. Physique: innate Tao body, spirit born from primordial qi, attuned to all paths in the world. Immortal and indestructible. Note: currently influenced by nether qi, in a demonic state. The system prompt resonated. Ji Xian stood frozen, comparing the information. What the hell? Monkey brother. Chapter 98. Sun Huang at the gambling table. People maintained their distance from Sun Huang. Damn it. Why is this scourge here? Last time he drank at my place. He didn't even pay. A rotund tavern owner whispered. What does that compare to my herbal shop? He stole all my sacred spirit peaches, costing me hundreds of thousands of spirit stones. And who dares to speak up? Another cultivator remarked. A newcomer cautiously inquired. Is there truly no one in this vast Neo city capable of dealing with him? Hush, my friend. A year ago, he single-handedly defeated 5 holy lords and killed them all with a single strike. A demon cultivator pulled him aside. Goodness, that's ruthless. I wish I had never asked. The cultivator retreated in dismay. Everyone whispered behind Sun Huang's back, not a single kind word spoken. Clad in shiny reddish-brown fur, he emanated a hint of nether qi, exuding an aura of ferocity akin to a lion. Brother, you have finally arrived. I've been wronged. The 3-legged golden toad clung to Sun Huang's leg, wailing. Ji Mingho twitched at the corners of his mouth, finding the toad shameless. Who dares to wrong my little brother, Sun Huang? He surveyed the surroundings, his voice booming, as he thrust the black golden iron rod heavily into the ground. Bang! The tremendous impact caused those around to stagger, nearly toppling over. It was them. The 3-legged golden toad pointed accusingly at Ji Xian, weeping loudly. Yet a sly smile crept onto his lips. You lot, what is the matter? Sun Huang coldly questioned, exuding a thick air of arrogance. Ji Xian chuckled softly. You impudent monkey? You are indeed domineering. Frog, do enlighten your esteemed elder brother about the sum you owe me, Sun Huang exclaimed, momentarily taken aback. Oh money? Jin San. Just how much do you owe? Brother Huang has recently earned a considerable fortune. Surely it amounts to 1,000,000 spirit stones. Whatever the debt, we shall repay it. I, Sun Huang, cannot abide those who owe money, he proclaimed, pointing his staff towards the heavens with righteous indignation. A murmur of astonishment rippled through the crowd, particularly from the proprietors of the tavern and the apothecary, whose faces were drawn longer than a horse's visage. Brother, I owe a rather substantial amount, Jin Shan stammered, hesitant to speak further. Substantial? Fear not, there are plenty of us here. Surely each can lend a little, Sun Huang replied nonchalantly, as if borrowing was a matter of course. The onlookers exchanged uneasy glances, retreating several steps. Such a scandalous act would daunt ordinary individuals, yet this audacious monkey seemed undeterred. Jin Shan had anticipated that Brother Huang would come to his rescue with a fierce display, but given the current circumstances, Huang began to reason, leaving Jin Shan in a state of acute anxiety, reluctant to utter a word. Pa, a mere 1,000,000 has you trembling in fear? Sun Huang spat dismissively. He then hoisted his iron staff and approached the crowd. Come, who among you can lend me a bit? If we gather 1,000,000, I shall certainly repay it in 1,000 years. The crowd recoiled further, hurling curses in his direction. You wretched monkey, did you not claim to possess 1,000,000? Why then do you turn to us for aid? Moreover, 1 million wouldn't even cover the interest. Sun Huang was momentarily stunned by the words. What do you mean? Not 1 million? At that moment, Jin Shan finally spoke. It's 100 billion. My heavens, have you wagered the entire Neon Demon City? Sun Huang cried, seizing Jin Shan's single leg and swinging him like a whirlwind. Begone. Let me never lay eyes on you again. With a powerful shout, he hurled Jin Shan away, who vanished like a shooting star into the horizon. You foul monkey, you flung the debtor away. Who will repay us our spirit stones? Ji Mingho exclaimed in fury. It was evident to all that this monkey had a devious agenda. Oh, debts. Who owes you anything? Sun Huang replied, a look of bewilderment crossing his face as if he had forgotten all that had transpired. Damn it. I knew this rogue monkey would resort to trickery. The spectators sighed, realizing that with Jin Shan gone, there was no longer a debtor to speak of. Sun Huang grinned slyly at Ji Xian and the others. I say, my friends, do not linger here. The matter is resolved. You may take your leave. Ao Tian bared his teeth, exuding an aura of draconic energy. Young master, give the command and I shall end him. He is far too insolent. Ji Xian, deep in thought, devised a plan. He produced the dragon essence fruit, lamenting, alas. This elixir of immortality has no one to bid for it. Consuming it would surely allow for a significant breakthrough. His words dripped with a beguiling allure, thick with temptation. Is that truly the dragon essence fruit? Sun Huang's eyes sparkled with intrigue. As a being transformed from the spirit of the earth, he possessed an intimate knowledge of the properties and significance of such rare treasures. Heh. Esteemed Taoist, how much do you ask for this dragon essence fruit? Sun Huang inquired, scratching his head, shifting his weight from foot to foot, and adopting a demeanor reminiscent of an impish monkey. Beside him, Ao Tian paused, sensing mischief afoot. 100 billion, Ji Xian replied nonchalantly, curious to witness what antics this troublesome monkey might conjure. 100 billion. What is that to me, old son? All is negotiable. He hopped enthusiastically to Ji Xian's side. Oh, let me have a whiff. Sun Huang leaned in closer. As if intent on devouring the dragon essence fruit whole, Ji Xian sidestepped gracefully, evading Sun Huang's sudden advance. Oh, truly. He pretended to bounce about, searching for the perfect angle. Ji Xian maintained a steady gaze ahead, never once acknowledging him directly, yet his divine perception was fully aware of every move. Now, as Sun Huang stepped into Ji Xian's blind spot, he summoned the obsidian iron staff from thin air and brought it crashing down. Quickly, stop him. That strike could obliterate a sovereign-level being. The young master is in peril. The onlookers gasped in alarm. Ao Tian reacted first, forming a fist and charging toward the descending iron staff. With a thunderous clang that resonated like two ancient bells colliding, Ao Tian was sent reeling, his hands cracking and blood seeping from his wounds. He was a true dragon of the lineage. How could he be harmed by such an ugly creature's weapon? Perish. You dared to flaunt your prowess before me. Now your life and the fruit are mine. Sun Huang bellowed, his iron staff radiating a menacing crimson aura as he grew increasingly ferocious. Ji Xian merely turned slightly, lifting a hand with the utmost nonchalance. Even too lazy to summon his divine energy. A flicker of illusion danced in the air. Smack! A crisp sound echoed as Ji Xian's palm sent Sun Huang flying, shattering several of his teeth, which scattered like debris. He coughed violently, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. What strength? Is he a Saint King? Sun Huang gasped in astonishment. If Ji Xian were merely a sovereign, he might have held his ground, but a Saint King was another matter entirely. Only flight remained. Clearly, reality affirmed the latter hypothesis. Run. Without a moment's hesitation, he activated his divine rainbow and vanished into the horizon. Ao Tian attempted to transform and pursue, but was intercepted by Ji Xian's hand. Young master, what is your intent? This little demon dares to insult you. Allow me to eliminate him, he declared fiercely, disregarding his own injuries. You must not endure such humiliation. Yet Ji Xian merely smiled lightly, bemused by this unpredictable monkey, who, despite the circumstances, still sought to strike him. He had initially believed that a single dragon essence fruit would suffice to deceive Sun Huang, only to find that the rascal had suddenly turned aggressive. Truly, the Lingming stone monkey had taken mischief to its zenith. However, as Ao Tian attempted to voice his concerns, Ji Xian interjected, it matters not. Engaging him will only embolden his resolve. What I truly intend to accomplish is to diminish his arrogance, compelling him to comply. Chapter 99. The Dragon's Grave within the stone gambling house. A cacophony erupted among the crowd. Esteemed young master, you must take charge for us. They clamored. Indeed, only you possess the power to subdue this unruly monkey. The residents of Neo Yeo City shouted in unison. The young man in white effortlessly defeated Sun Huang with a single move, providing a moment of respite for the oppressed populace. Ji Xian, however, paid little heed to the commotion, quietly standing before the stone table, meticulously selecting his materials. Meanwhile, Ao Tian responded to the crowd's fervor. Old demon, from whence did you procure these stones? Ji Xian inquired of the stall owner. The proprietor, an elderly cat demon, hunched over with age, sat there with a vacant expression. I, too, am simply acting on behalf of another. It is said these stones were excavated from a place known as the Dragon's Grave, the cat demon replied. Is it truly the dragon's grave? Gasped Wu Miao from the side. Ji Mingho leaned forward. Senior sister, do you know what this dragon's grave is? Wu Miao nodded. The dragon's grave is quite renowned in several nearby states. It is rumored to house a type of purple fire stone, imbued with a potent malevolent energy. I journeyed to Wanyao Prefecture specifically for this purple fire stone. She turned to Ji Xian and asked, Senior, are you interested in this dragon's grave? Ji Xian replied, I do wish to see it. He sensed a familiar aura emanating from the stones, akin to that of the unseen enemy, compelling him to unveil their true nature and eliminate them one by one. I shall take every stone on this table, Ji Xian declared to the cat demon. He then tossed out a storage ring, containing over 100 million spirit stones. With a flourish of his white sleeves, he gathered hundreds of stones into his possession. At that moment, the gambling house owner approached. Friend, according to the rules, these stones must be cut here and cannot be taken away. Ji Xian glanced sideways. Who established these rules? The owner replied, naturally it was I, huh? Merely your attempt to deceive me is sufficient to warrant your demise. You dare speak of rules to me? If I wish to leave with them, do you truly believe you can stop me? Ji Xian's expression remained composed, exuding an air of authority. You. The gambling house owner furrowed his brow, visibly displeased. Though his establishment was modest, his connections were extensive, and none in Neo City dared to disregard his authority. You may take them, but you must sell me the dragon origin fruit. He barked. Oh, are the rules now altered? Ji Xian chuckled softly. The owner's intentions were glaringly obvious, revealing him to be a mere and scrupulous merchant. I advise you to reconsider. The dragon origin fruit is a rare treasure, seldom seen in a millennium. With so many formidable beings in Neo City, I fear you may summon it, and have no life left to enjoy it. The gambling house owner gritted his teeth, adopting a domineering stance. The value of the dragon origin fruit was incalculable, even drawing the interest of ancient emperors, and its worth far exceeded the 100 million spirit stones Ji Xian had offered. Should it enter the market, the gambling house would suffer irreparable loss. The last merchant who spoke to me in such a manner left without even a complete corpse. Ji Xian turned his back and swept his sleeves as he departed. Remember, my rules are the law. Ao Tian, strike him. Upon receiving the command, Ao Tian's right fist radiated a brilliant golden light, the dragon energy swirling as he unleashed a powerful blow towards the stone gambling master. A wailing shriek echoed through the gambling house, reminiscent of a slaughtered pig. Under Ao Tian's relentless assault, even the master, possessing the cultivation of a holy lord, was left battered. His physical form shattered, and his primordial spirit severely injured. If I cannot obtain the dragon yuan fruit, then neither shall you. He transformed the remnants of his mental energy into a sound transmission talisman, which burst forth above the city of illusions. The news of the emergence of the undying elixir spread like a tidal wave, igniting a frenzy throughout the ancient city. Could it be true that someone had unearthed the undying elixir from the gambling house? Is this for real? There can be no doubt. The gambling house master nearly perished over this matter. My heavens, that is the undying elixir. Even figures from ancient times would go mad for it. Numerous cultivators on the streets engaged in fervent discussions. The undying elixir is exceedingly rare and immensely powerful, and this news tugged at the heartstrings of various formidable factions. A dozen holy lords set out to investigate, with whispers of 1 or 2 holy kings also making their appearance. The city of illusions was turned upside down, yet ultimately, these factions returned empty-handed. Meanwhile, Ji Xian and his companions had long journeyed thousands of miles away. Ji Mingho and Wu Miao bid farewell, expressing their intentions to act alongside their elders. The ancient war chariots thundered across the skies, rumbling as 2 pairs of golden wheels carved deep ruts across the sea of clouds. Ji Xian tossed a map to Ao Tian. Head to the Fire Dragon Tomb. Understood. The city of illusions lies on the far western edge of the 10,000 demon continent, while the Fire Dragon Tomb is situated at the far east, adjacent to the indeterminate Divine Sea. It is a considerable distance, spanning an entire continent from west to east. The territory of the 10,000 demon continent is remarkably vast. Even after a month, the Golden War Chariot had yet to reach its destination. Ji Xian gazed at the swiftly passing landscapes, reflecting on the immense expanse of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Merely one of the 3,000 states is incomprehensibly larger than the Shintian realm by countless times. Not to mention colossal entities like the indeterminate Divine Sea and the Great Brahma Heaven. Another month passed, and at last, a scarlet mountain range materialized on the horizon. After traveling nearly 10,000 miles, the shape of the Fire Dragon Tomb emerged through the clouds. It was a massive mountain range stretching from north to south, aptly named, as the Fire Dragon Tomb resembled a colossal red dragon reclining upon the earth. The surrounding area, spanning 100,000 miles, was a desolate reddish-brown desert, forlorn and hauntingly desolate. Upon reaching this point, Ji Xian sensed the oppressive aura of the netherworld growing stronger. Crossing the vast desert, Ji Xian's chariot gradually descended before the Fire Dragon Tomb. For some unknown reason, a multitude of cultivators had gathered at the foot of the mountain. They were fully armed, whispering among themselves, occasionally casting glances deep into the mountain. seemingly anticipating the emergence of something significant. Ao go and inquire. Understood. Clad in golden armor, Ao strode forth with an imposing presence, while Ji Xian stood atop the chariot, observing the fire dragon tomb with great attention. Remarkably, this fire dragon mountain range does not appear to be a natural formation. Ji Xian activated his fire golden eyes, realizing the mountain's foundation did not connect with the essence of the earth beneath. In summary, the fire dragon tomb resembles a mountain range that has been relocated from another place. Shortly thereafter, he noticed traces of seawater eroded along the mountain's periphery. Could it be the uncertain divine sea? Ji Xian turned to gaze back, and 3,000 miles away, the dark waters of the uncertain divine sea surged tumultuously. The sound of the tides booming like thunder, an imposing spectacle. Could it truly have been transported by the sea? Ji Xian found it utterly astonishing. According to the ancient texts he had perused, the fire dragon tomb had stood here for at least 100,000 years. Had no one ever noticed this anomaly? Young master, I have inquired. Ao Tianyu arrived, riding the divine rainbow. The legendary comet is about to emerge. Chapter 100. The comet. Ji Xian stood atop the ancient war chariot, his brow furrowed. He had encountered the term comet in ancient texts, referring to a star in the heavens. This star was enveloped in a crimson malevolence, and its appearances heralded the arrival of bloodshed and ominous phenomena. Moreover, it bore a second meaning, deception and bewilderment. This star was exceedingly enigmatic and capricious. Millions of years prior, 3 ancient emperors had united to obliterate it, dissipating its boundless karma across the cosmos. Henceforth, the comet became a widespread metaphor for misfortune. Could remnants of this star lie within the fire dragon tomb? Ji Xian's mind was rife with uncertainty. Young master, shall we draw closer to investigate? Ao Tian, perceptive as always, approached Ji Xian upon observing his furrowed brow. Ji Xian nodded, retracting the chariot's frame, and strode towards the mountain's entrance. At a secluded and profound gorge, numerous demon cultivators gathered. They hailed from various tribes within the myriad demon prefecture, dispatched by their elders to explore. 2 tribes stationed at the forefront of the gorge awaited the dissolution of the restrictions. These were the 2 most powerful tribes in the myriad demon prefecture, the Qingjiao clan and the Tianlang clan, both reputed to have ancient ancestors of the sacred king realm still alive. At the very front of the assembly, a towering gray wolf beast with wings was anxiously pacing. He addressed a nearby dragon. Brother Qinghan, given the significance of this location, why have the ancient ancestors entrusted us, mere juniors newly entering the sacred master realm, with this duty? The dragon, with eyes half closed and an expression calm, replied after a brief pause. Wolf Taiwei, your audacity grows. Do you dare to question the ancient ancestors' decision? The dissolution of the restrictions will require some time, and as the ancestors' lifespans dwindle, how can they emerge prematurely? Wolf Taiwei scoffed, his face displaying disdain. Such a traditionalist. He then shifted the conversation. Hasn't your kin departed long ago? Still no sign of his return? Qinghan nodded. That fellow has been gone for over 2 years. He hasn't taken to lingering in a brothel like you did in your youth, has he? Ha ha. Wolf Taiwei laughed heartily. Upon hearing this, Qinghan visibly shuddered. His meditative state abruptly disrupted. He has perished. After a moment's contemplation, he uttered those 2 words. Perished. Wolf Taihui's grin froze. Realizing he had taken the jest too far, he perished in a certain realm below, his life token having been shattered 2 years prior. Qinghan replied. A realm below? How could that be possible? He was clearly of the Saint realm. Wolf Taihui expressed his astonishment. The truth remains thus. It appears he accompanied a venerable elder from the Ji family, Qinghan elucidated. Wolf Taihui gasped in disbelief at the mention of the Ji family. If the demise of Qinghan's brother were indeed the work of those in the lower realm, their camaraderie would compel him to obliterate that realm without hesitation. However, regarding the Ji family, you misunderstand. That elder from the Ji family has also met his end, Qinghan interjected. He paused momentarily before continuing, stating that the elders of our clan had promptly identified the location of that realm below. Yet, for reasons unknown, as preparations were underway, the aura of that realm abruptly vanished. The Ji family had once sent individuals to inquire, but ultimately, they could not ascertain the truth. Wolf Taihui chose to remain silent. Discussing the ancient aristocratic families is a considerable taboo. A mere slip of the tongue could ignite a conflagration, inviting the calamity of annihilation. Moreover, these 3,000 states lie well within the Ji family's sphere of influence, where eyes are numerous and prying. A single utterance could very well lead to extermination. Not far away, 2 practitioners clad in animal skins observed the 2 demons ahead. Master, that serpent has actually cultivated dragon energy. And it is merely at the Saint Lord level, Lu Meng exclaimed in astonishment. Beside him stood a withered elder, his beard cascading like a white waterfall, exuding an aura of unparalleled profundity. This was a supreme elder from the sacred beast mountain, and also Lu Meng's mentor. This creature is indeed extraordinary. With our sect's secret methods, it could potentially become a formidable beast servant. However, in comparison to our mission, it still falls short significantly, the elder remarked. When I first entered the myriad beast state, I heard numerous rumors. Is that demon ape truly so powerful? The elder chuckled softly. He is a born stone spirit, attuned to all the great paths of the world, not yielding even to the legendary true dragon. As Lu Meng listened to the elder's praise of the demon ape, he became entranced. In a daze, he seemed to see a reddish-brown monkey amidst the crowd, stealthily advancing as if tracking something. Following the monkey's path, a figure clad in white suddenly came into view. Before the valley teeming with demon cultivators, that figure was not particularly tall. Yet, there was an uncanny familiarity about him, causing the white-clad man to loom large in Lu Meng's mind. Boom. It felt as though a painful memory from deep within had been unearthed. And Lu Meng's expression shifted dramatically. What the hell? How did he come here? Disciple, what is the matter? The elder inquired, turning slightly. It's him. He was the one who slaughtered several of our Saint Realm elders in the sacred land. Lu Meng's voice trembled, his legs involuntarily shaking. The bloody scene of that day had become a lingering pain in his heart. Oh, truly, one need not toil to find what they seek. A glimmer of cold light flickered in the elder's eyes as three divine halos subtly materialized behind him. Meanwhile, Ji Xian strode with graceful steps toward the valley's entrance. His hair fluttering in the wind, his white attire billowing, rendering him as light as a feather. Behind him, Ao Tian asked, My lord, shall we simply enter? The barrier does not seem to have been lifted. Ji Xian gazed ahead, his demeanor remarkably composed. It was merely a restriction infused with the essence of the extreme path. Behind him, Sun Huang stealthily trailed the two ahead. Ji Xian had long since sensed his presence and even speculated on his intentions, yet chose not to expose him. Human. The restriction ahead has not yet dissipated. Retreat at once. Wolf Taihui exclaimed, his voice resonating sharply as he observed the white-clad man darting perilously close. The other cultivators turned their gazes in astonishment. Who is this human, so brazenly near the restriction? Is he courting death? Youngster, return immediately. Do you wish to doom us all? The expressions of the demon race cultivators shifted dramatically as they retreated. The potency of this restriction was formidable. A moment's carelessness could spell annihilation for all present. Seeing that persuasion had failed, Wolf Taihui stepped forward, his aura surging with vigor and malevolence. I shall intervene. Qing Han rose to confront him. Fellow Taoist, halt. Do not advance any further. Yet, Ji Xian continued his advance, step by step, towards the threshold laden with restrictions. By heavens, Lord Qing Han, swiftly eliminate him. Do not waste words. The demon cultivators cursed vehemently. This mere human dares to act wantonly on the demon territory. Do not let him touch the restriction, otherwise, none of us shall escape. Qing Han had no choice but to act. He conjured a pair of azure dragon claws that lunged towards Ji Xian, intent on capturing the white-clad man. That is it, Lord Qing Han, quickly seize him. The Yinghua must not be destroyed. The demon cultivators shouted fervently. The azure claws, imbued with dragon energy, reached for Ji Xian. Suddenly, a resounding dragon's roar reverberated through the air. A golden dragon claw erupted forth like spring bamboo shoots breaking through the earth, instantly shattering the azure claws with a thunderous explosion. Puff! Qing Han coughed blood, staggering back several steps before collapsing to the ground. He gazed in horror at the direction of the golden claw, only to discover it was merely a golden-haired youth. In that fleeting moment, Qing Han felt an overwhelming sense of oppression, a suppression rooted in race and bloodline that extinguished his fighting spirit in an instant. How is this possible? I have cultivated dragon energy. This youth is clearly only at the sage realm. Ji Xian approached the restriction, his countenance serene before the terrifying white array. Primordial Heaven Mirror. With a flourish, a blue copper mirror materialized in Ji Xian's hand. The domain of the imperial weapon surged forth, clashing violently with the restriction. In an instant, the blue and white forces of the extreme path collided at the valley's entrance, a howling tempest that shook the heavens. The mountains flanking the valley crumbled to dust, debris flying and injuring a multitude of demon cultivators. Flee. That human intends to force his way through the restriction. If he seeks death, let him do so alone. The demon race retreated in panic. Crack. Moments later, the sound of shattering crystal echoed. The white array representing the restriction completely dissipated, revealing the full scope of the valley to the demon onlookers. Let us depart, Ji Xian instructed Ao Tian. Indeed, the two vanished in an instant, leaving the multitude of demons in a state of bewilderment. Who could have imagined that a restriction upheld by numerous clans for millennia would be effortlessly unraveled by a mere human? With a swift motion, Sun Huang leapt from the chaotic stones, transforming into a streak of crimson light, vanishing into the mountains. Only then did the myriad of demons realize, the seal has been broken. Let us charge forth. In Chapter 101, the Shadow Dragon emerges. An aura of gloom pervaded the valley as demon practitioners formed pairs, curiously gazing at the cliffs on either side. The legend of the Fire Dragon Tomb had flourished across the myriad demon continent for tens of thousands of years. According to an ancient sage's prophecy, peril lurked within. Yet it was also rife with opportunity. For millennia, this tale had stirred the hearts of countless demon cultivators, who advanced cautiously while striving to maintain a safe distance from the white-clad man ahead. Qing Han, are you gravely injured? Inquired Wolf Taihui, offering solace to the azure-scaled dragon beside him. Qing Han shook his head, indicating that the golden-haired youth had no intention of taking his life. However, it was prudent to keep their distance. The moment the seal was broken, a potent aura of ultimate danger enveloped him. That white-clad figure was perilous, rivaling the esteemed guardians of the Wang realm who protected them. Best not to provoke him. Wolf Taiwi nodded in agreement, fully understanding the gravity of the situation. Ji Xian strode forward, hands clasped behind his back, exuding an air of formidable presence akin to a dormant tiger. Young master, there lies a stone tablet ahead, Out Yin announced. Peering ahead, a gray stone tablet, over 3 feet tall, stood resolutely at the valley's entrance, its surface etched with countless marks, as if weathered by the passage of ages. Ji Xian examined the low stone tablet, where the words flickering firelight, chaotic confusion were inscribed in 8 ancient characters, powerful and imbued with a distinct Taoist resonance. In a moment of reverie, these characters emanated crimson radiance, causing the entire valley to tremble. The pervasive gloom that had enveloped the valley dissipated instantly, replaced by a fragrant breeze. The once dim space brightened slightly, and clusters of verdant leaves and blossoms sprang forth from the crevices of the rocks. Out Yin's expression shifted at the dramatic transformation of the landscape. Has your mere utterance altered the surrounding environment? He paused before continuing. Young master, your springtime has arrived. Ji Xian shot him a glance, retorting, what nonsense are you spouting? You are the one experiencing spring. Hurry along. Yes, yes. Out Yin complied eagerly, scampering ahead to clear the way. Upon exiting the valley, the duo beheld the grandeur of the Fire Dragon Tomb. A serpentine mountain range stretched across the land for thousands of miles, surrounded by an endless expanse of lush green plains. In front of the mountains lay a 1,000-mile-long emerald lake, its gentle waves shimmering in a hazy mist. The azure sky met the verdant grass, creating an exceptionally picturesque environment. How could such a transformation occur? Wasn't this a desert just moments ago? Out Yin exclaimed, brandishing a golden spear and prodding the ground, eager to uncover the truth. Ji Xian harbored similar doubts. Even if this were a concealed paradise, such a dramatic change in atmosphere was implausible. While aboard the ancient war chariot, he had distinctly sensed the overwhelming presence of dark, ominous energy. Something is amiss. Ji Xian mused, clicking his tongue. Rumbling sounds echoed from the valley behind, signaling the arrival of more demon practitioners. The sounds echoed from afar, accompanied by the clashing of metal weapons and curses. Sun Huang, you wretched monkey, prepare to meet your demise. For over 2,000 years, how many powers in the 10,000 demon prefecture have you tormented? Last time, you stripped my wife of all her peacock feathers. We must eliminate him. The clang of combat ensued once again. Moments later, Sun Huang staggered out from the valley, disheveled and covered in dirt. Previously, he had been struck by a coalition of hundreds of magical artifacts wielded by a gathering of demon cultivators and was sent flying for several dozen miles. Yet, in the face of this onslaught, Sun Huang showed no signs of submission. You useless lot. Even a decrepit Saint Master cannot match a mere Saint Realm monkey like me. Where are those old geezers in the Saint King realm? Come at me together. As a fellow member of the demon race, he unleashed a tirade of insults towards the cultivators, embodying the persona of a formidable verbal combatant. And that young gentleman, your sister in peacock feathers, truly disrobed herself. I, old son, merely played along with her scheme. Don't blame me for your shortcomings. You bloody fool. You are the one incapable. Ji Xian was momentarily speechless. This raucous monkey was indeed an exceptional rogue among rogues. Meanwhile, Ao Tian rubbed his fists, eager to join the ranks of the demon army. Just as the cultivators were embroiled in a fierce battle, the lake at the foot of the mountains began to overflow. Stop fighting. A treasure is about to emerge. Someone suddenly realized. The demon cultivators quickly ceased their skirmishes and turned their attention to the source of the sound. At the forefront of the mountains lay a spring, the very inlet of the lake. Golden water flowed from the spring, dancing like fairies upon the surface. The jade-green ripples unfurled rhythmically, akin to the melodious sounds of a guzheng. Occasionally, a purple palace appeared upon the water's surface, shimmering with golden light. A rich fragrance wafted forth, intoxicating and spreading for miles. The demon cultivators were instantly enraptured by this enchanting aroma. This must be a treasured artifact. Even the usually composed Qing Han felt a surge of excitement. However, in the next moment, he regained his composure. The white-clad man and the golden-haired youth stood by the lake, gazing intently at the purple palace. Ao Tian extended his finger, yearning to touch the water's surface. Don't touch it, Ji Xian admonished sharply, stepping back. His eyes radiated with a blue-purple divine light, capturing the eternal mountains and rivers in their gaze. As if he could see through the ages, Ao Tian recoiled, following Ji Xian to retreat to the rear. Even the typically reckless Sun Huang grew solemn at the sight of the purple hue. The oppressive aura was palpable, and he stealthily withdrew to the back of the demon ranks, observing the unfolding events. Is that all? Qing Han was taken aback. Nearby, Wolf Taiwi shouted loudly. Prepare to enter the palace. Roar. The demons collectively roared in excitement, surging towards the lake like a black tide. Qing Han hesitated. Had the white-clad elder truly given up? Suddenly, a barely noticeable fragrance wafted from somewhere, entering Qing Han's body. The treasure belongs to this holy master. In the next instant, he dashed towards the lake in a frenzy. The void behind shattered, and an ancient figure emerged from within. Qinghan, come back. This was a Saint King of the Qingjiao clan, adorned with 3 divine rings atop his head, casting a massive net over the younger generation. Suddenly, an unknown force manifested, shattering the net with a violent force. Additionally, a boundless malice took shape, resembling curved blades that lunged toward the Saint King. His expression shifted, realizing the presence of imperial might. Despite his desperate attempts to defend himself, the crimson malice forced him to retreat step by step. In an instant, the azure sky was shrouded in a sea of blood, emanating a chilling and terrifying aura. Below, half of the demon clan cultivators had already plunged into the lake, frantically swimming toward the palace. Suddenly, 2 black dragon horns erupted from the vast lake surface. In the next moment, a colossal dragon head emerged, its fiery gaze fixed upon the demon cultivators descending into the waters. It was a reddish-brown shadow dragon, indicating that it was undergoing a transformation into a higher stage. The expression of the Saint King in the sky shifted dramatically. This is no mere Jiao, it is a dragon. The reddish-brown shadow dragon glided through the depths, slowly approaching the frenzied demon clan. The demons, lost in madness, remained oblivious to the impending danger. Beast, how dare you? The Saint King of the Qingjiao clan soared through the air, his 3 divine rings shining brilliantly. He summoned 3 treasure wheels, radiant as the moon, and launched them toward the shadow dragon. These are the seeds of our clan's future. They must not be lost. The shadow dragon surged from the depths, opening its gaping maw to snap at the smaller demons below. In one swift motion, it plunged back into the water, swallowing hundreds of demon cultivators in an instant. The young demons were instantly refined into a pool of blood, becoming the shadow dragon's breakfast. Simultaneously, the shadow dragon evaded the Saint King's attack. As the 3 silver moon wheels missed their target, splashing the crystalline lake surface and affecting many younger cultivators, the shadow dragon emitted a chilling laugh, seemingly mocking the Saint King's impotence. It continued to swim beneath the surface, searching for another opportunity to strike. Ji Xian stood high in the sky, his fiery golden eyes surveying the scene below. In his vision, countless chains of purple energy surged from the ground, connecting to the belly of the shadow dragon, providing it with an unending source of power. No wonder it can transform into a dragon despite lacking sufficient cultivation. It is drawing upon the formidable energies of the fire dragon tomb. A smile graced Ji Xian's lips. A Jiao dragon only manifests dragon energy upon reaching a quasi-emperor level, transforming into the legendary dragon. This dragon was not a true dragon, but rather an ancient dragon of the dragon clan, akin to the Qinglong and others. The shadow dragon was the guardian spirit of the fire dragon tomb, having manifested dragon characteristics by harnessing the underground dragon veins. Ao Tian stood nearby, his expression blank, completely unable to comprehend Ji Xian's words. At that moment, he was merely preoccupied with thoughts of how to unleash a flurry of attacks on that wretched monkey. Heart extraction from the black tiger, Mount Tai's weight, 2 dragons playing with pearls, crows piloting planes, giant axes felling trees, tornadoes demolishing parking lots, steamed monkey brains. Spicy monkey brains, soup-filled monkey brains. No, I've strayed off course. Ao Tian grasped his dragon horns tightly, shaking his head vigorously. When he regained his senses, he was startled to see a reddish-brown monkey hastily making its way towards the palace in the lake. Damn it, it's that rascal. On the surface of the lake, Sun Huowang, taking advantage of the battle between the Yin Dragon and the Qing Jiao clan's sacred king, had already sneaked into the purple palace. He chuckled to himself. How foolish they are, fighting among themselves, only to pave the way for me. A smile played on his lips, brimming with satisfaction. Treasures, here I come. However, upon pushing open the grand doors of the palace, he was struck dumb by the sight before him. The palace was utterly empty, entirely transformed by Yin Qi. This was completely beyond Sun Huowang's expectations. Damn it, whose ancient prophecy was this? It's bound to haunt him. Everything is a lie. Sun Huowang cursed loudly, sending greetings to the 18 generations of the few sacred venerables of Wanyao Prefecture. Roar. Outside the purple palace, the Yin Dragon seemed to sense something. Glancing back at the palace with a resounding howl. Roar. It plunged back into the water, swiftly swimming towards Sun Huowang. You slippery eel. You deceived me, didn't you? Sun Huowang brandished his iron rod, ready to charge forward. Yet, when he felt the faint imperial might emanating from the Yin Dragon, his expression changed drastically, and he hastily retreated. Never mind, I shall spare your life today. I will come back to finish you off another day. Roar. The Yin Dragon swam rapidly beneath the surface, relentlessly pursuing him. Sun Huowang felt the dragon's presence, a wave of fear washing over him. It was akin to being scorched by fire, yet the sensation was bone-chillingly cold. He had absorbed Yin Qi for thousands of years. Yet he could not acclimate to this icy aura, which was astonishing. Hiss. The distance between the Yin Dragon and Sun Huowang grew shorter, as it was on the verge of catching up. Splash. A beam of moonlight emerged, dancing like silver bells, transforming into a flowing stream that struck the Yin Dragon. Thud. The Yin Dragon was forced beneath the water by the moonlight. A woman clad in a brocade robe stood in the void, her feet resting upon a holy crescent moon. Exuding grace, she was the moon deity from the Jixian Lun Sea. As the Yin dragon suffered damage, the entire upper river began to tremble. Streams of purple light flowed from the spring at the forefront of the Fire Dragon Tomb Mountain, forming waves of fiery energy. The Yin dragon, being the embodiment of the mountains and rivers, naturally caused geological disturbances when attacked. Jixian smiled upon witnessing the emergence of the purple flames. After searching for you for so long, it turns out you were hiding within the dragon vein underground. With a swift motion, she vanished from sight. Jixian did not directly strike down the Yin dragon. Doing so would ruin the Earth's veins, leading to the annihilation of both the purple fire seeds and the Earth's essence. Breaking the protective spirit formed by the mountains and rivers required a force of equal magnitude. Jixian activated the celestial domain of creation, her figure flickering as she swiftly altered her position. After several rotations, she connected with the celestial and terrestrial forces of the area. By combining her robust human influence, she could extinguish the Yin dragon in an instant and successfully obtain the fire seeds. Whoosh! Several streams of light flashed by, and the three forces of heaven, earth, and humanity were instantaneously invoked. The Yin dragon seemed to be ensnared by a certain power, immobilized at that moment. Immediately, Jixian clenched his right hand, causing an immense surge of transformative power to flow rapidly, disrupting the very essence of the mountains and rivers. Such is the nature of transformative energy. Once cultivated to a certain level, one can indeed move mountains and fill seas, even alter the stars in their courses. Streams of fiery essence erupted from the depths of the earth, coalescing into a spherical ember, towering 3 zhang high, gracefully suspended above the water's surface. As the mountainous energies were thrown into disarray, the shadowy dragon was instantaneously shattered, vanishing without a trace. In an instant, the landscape within the dragon's tomb underwent another transformation. The once resplendent world dimmed abruptly. The endless grasslands morphed into a desolate reddish-brown desert, while the azure sky succumbed to darkness. The mountains began to rumble ominously as the dragon-like peaks appeared to awaken, shedding their verdant cloaks. Even the pristine lakes underwent a metamorphosis, turning into an expanse of blood-like waters, eerie and terrifying in its vastness. All the little demons lost in their fantasies were jolted awake. Good heavens, why am I swimming in blood? What happened to that magnificent holy lake? One cried out in despair. Ugh, I just swallowed a putrid fish. Where have my legs gone? How am I supposed to explain this to my wife? Another demon discovered, to its horror, that the shadowy dragon had bitten off its lower half, awakening only to realize its plight. As the throng of demons struggled to comprehend their predicament, their attention was drawn irresistibly to the violet ember at the center of the lake. Could it be the fabled holy fire of the moon? Legend spoke of its capricious nature, capable of endless transformations. Could it be that all they had just witnessed was under its control? Surely not. While the holy fire is powerful, it could not possess sentience, murmured the crowd, though none dared to approach. The unfortunate fate of some demons had instilled a profound sense of trepidation in many. I understand now. The comet the Venerable One spoke of is indeed this. A small demon suddenly shouted, awakening the realization in the crowd. Tales had it that the comet was a harbinger of disaster, shrouded in mystery and unpredictability. Now, witnessing the shadowy dragon, the truth was clear. The flickering flames and chaotic allure were indeed what they meant. We have all been deceived. In the air, Jixian listened intently to the discussions among the demons, pondering deeply. Was the situation merely as it appeared? Whoosh! The sound of wind slicing through the air heralded the approach of a saint from the Qingjiao clan, racing towards the holy fire of the moon. Such a caliber of heavenly fire. This will be a grand achievement, he thought eagerly. Jixian moved with the swiftness of lightning, unnoticed by the saint. Dare you covet what does not belong to you? Come forth. Jixian conjured an enormous hand, instantly grasping the saint in his palm. Friend, what is the meaning of this? The Qingjiao saint exclaimed, taken aback. The ease with which Jixian unraveled the bindings instilled a deep sense of dread within him. Fortunately, upon entering the dragon's tomb, Jixian had refrained from excessive interference, allowing the saint to lower his guard. Little did he anticipate that at this critical juncture, Jixian would thwart his advance. He brandished his divine ring, attempting to struggle, only to be astounded to find that he could not stir even a ripple in Jixian's grasp. Think to take advantage? Best return to the back. Jixian cast him aside with a forceful wave, unleashing a powerful spatial disturbance that sent the Qingjiao saint shimmering away into the horizon. On the surface of the lake, amidst the hesitation of the myriad creatures, Sun Huang charged relentlessly towards the purple flame. What a powerful Yin fire! Once I refine it, I will undoubtedly advance to a higher realm. Just as he was about to seize it, a figure clad in white suddenly emerged from the void, gazing at him with a warm smile. Oh, running so fast, are you eager for a beating? Chapter 103. Subjugation enveloped by the ominous aura of the Blood Lake. Sun Huang locked eyes with Jixian. What do you mean by this? A hint of anger flickered in Sun Huang's eyes, clearly displeased with Jixian's actions. His reddish-brown fur danced in the wind, vibrant and fierce like a raging fire. I merely came to retrieve my holy fire, Ji Xian said with a smile, raising his right hand slightly to receive the Taiyin sacred fire. The towering flame instantly shrank to the size of a palm, quietly hovering in Ji Xian's hand. Purple energy flowing and divine light radiating. Nonsense. That flame was clearly seen by me first. Sun Huang retorted sharply, expressing his discontent. Heh, you stubborn monkey are truly unreasonable. Throughout history, treasures have been claimed by those capable of obtaining them. If you are unconvinced, defeat me, and it shall rightfully belong to you. Ji Xian replied with a light chuckle. Don't even think about it. Your cultivation is extraordinary. How could I possibly triumph over you? Such arrogance. Sun Huang scoffed. Ji Xian, in an instant, devised a plan. Unless what? Ji Xian inquired. Unless you suppress your cultivation and engage in battle with me at the same level, Sun Huang declared, brandishing his obsidian iron rod with bravado. Uft. Ha. Ji Xian couldn't help but burst into laughter, shedding his usual aloof demeanor. He laughed so heartily that it nearly toppled those around him. Are you mocking me? Sun Huang bared his teeth, feeling insulted. At the edge of the lake, Ao Tian's expression grew solemn. It was the first time since his birth that he witnessed his lord laugh so joyously, especially at the expense of this insufferable monkey. How irritating. To think someone would voluntarily request a battle at my level. Allow me a moment to compose myself. Ji Xian lifted his sleeve to wipe away the tears of laughter. All right, I accept your challenge. Ji Xian finally composed himself and adjusted his robe. Heh, you foolish rascal. You've finally fallen for my trick. Sun Huang reveled in his triumph. As a naturally born stone spirit, he was attuned to all paths in the world. Whether in terms of cultivation speed or combat prowess, he far surpassed his peers and could even contend against those of higher realms. In short, he had no rivals among his contemporaries. Wait, I want to raise the stakes. Sun Huang scratched his chin, contemplating how to cleverly trap this white-clad man. Of course. Feel free, Ji Xian replied nonchalantly. If you lose, you must give me that dragon essence fruit. And also 100 billion spirit stones. Ji Xian was rendered speechless. This monkey seemed to have him firmly in his grasp, truly a greedy lion. All right, no problem. However, if you lose, you must also owe me something. Ji Xian responded. Say whatever you wish. After all, I, Sun Huang, am but a penniless creature with nothing but 2 sticks. As the saying goes, the barefoot need not fear the shod. I have no money, but I can wager my life. Sun Huang grinned with great satisfaction, exclaiming, well said. If you lose, your life will belong to me. Do you dare to gamble? With a dismissive scoff, he declared, I, Sun, have ventured into sacred grounds and descended into the chambers of divine maidens. What do I have to fear? Come at me. Ji Xian's exterior radiated a subdued brilliance, his aura suddenly intensifying as he reached the realm of the saints. Before Ji Xian could fully regain his composure, Sun Huang charged forward, brandishing his iron rod. His fur blazed like fire, infused with a tinge of ominous energy, while the obsidian iron rod whirled in his grasp, emanating a faint imperial might. Your weapon is indeed extraordinary. Ji Xian's eyes brightened. From their initial encounter, he had sensed an enigmatic energy emanating from the iron rod in Sun Huang's possession, and now, it was confirmed. Unperturbed by Sun Huang's assault, Ji Xian calmly formed the sun seal with his left hand and the moon seal with his right, leaning forward. 2 divine phantoms materialized behind him, one exuding a fierce aura, the other an ethereal presence. With a resounding clash, the solar and lunar energies summoned by the 2 deities collided with the obsidian iron rod. So it is a quasi-imperial weapon. It possesses quite the pedigree. Ji Xian chuckled. The obsidian iron rod in Sun Huang's grip was indeed a quasi-imperial weapon. Allow me to take a look. While the solar and lunar powers wrestled against the iron rod, Ji Xian slipped away, extending one hand forward. His palm radiated a rich essence of creation, shimmering with divine light, as if nurturing a world of its own. Whoosh. Sun Huang's expression shifted in surprise as he deflected the dual seals of sun and moon, retreating abruptly. In that moment, it felt as though he might be drawn into Ji Xian's palm. Do you dare to toy with me, your grandfather the monkey? Sun Huang, now agitated, recognized Ji Xian's apparent jest. He was not treating the matter seriously. A swift resolution is necessary. A grave expression crossed his face. In the next instant, his body began to expand rapidly. The once diminutive figure swelled, muscles bulging at a visible rate. Furthermore, his red fur grew swiftly, the sinister energy around him intensifying. Roar. In an instant, the small monkey transformed into a towering demon ape, standing several dozen feet tall. With a roar that shattered the air, a torrent of crimson winds surged forth. That dead monkey has become a demon. I remember now. He faced the various saints in this very form a year ago. Many demon cultivators noticed the transformation with awe. Such potent, ominous energy. How has this monkey survived for over 3,000 years? Ji Xian mused. A hint of surprise evident in his demeanor. Clang. The obsidian iron rod suddenly enlarged, transforming into a colossal pillar akin to a dragon, crashing down upon Ji Xian. Mountains crumbled under the pressure of the rod, and the blood in the nearby lake began to bubble, as if provoked. Flee! The demon horde scrambled in panic. This strike could annihilate even a saint-level being, leaving none unshaken. The ominous energy brought forth a frenzy. Ji Xian, enveloped in golden light, activated the indestructible scripture. Unfazed, he charged toward the descending giant rod. When the monumental clash resounded, it echoed like a grand bell, deafening all in its vicinity. The fleeing demons were stunned. Their eardrums nearly ruptured as they teetered on the brink of unconsciousness. Ji Xian's complexion transformed into a hue of bronze as he steadfastly resisted the obsidian iron rod, gripping it firmly in his hand. My weapon. In that fleeting moment, he lost all sensation of the iron bar. Sun Huang's physique expanded to the size of a small mountain, and in his fury, he pounded his chest. You are next. Ji Xian retracted the obsidian iron rod, golden light cascading over his body, and launched a powerful punch. The golden fist shadow obscured the heavens, shattering numerous stars, while the mountains of the Fire Dragon tomb appeared diminutive beneath its might. The immense pressure left Sun Huang gasping for breath. Damn it! Have you suppressed your realm, or are you deceiving me? He bellowed. Ji Xian displayed a divine ring, exuding innocence. With a clang, Sun Huang chose to manifest his true form, transforming into a colossal demon ape towering 100 feet tall, raising both hands in defiance. Bang! A tremendous sound erupted, as the earth beneath Sun Huang's feet caved in, creating a vast pit. A primal, rugged roar echoed as blood trickled from the corner of Sun Huang's mouth, his legs deeply embedded in the ground. Are you convinced yet? Ji Xian's voice resonated. Not in the least. I'd rather die than concede. Sun Huang retorted defiantly. Hiss! Ji Xian withdrew the fist shadow and summoned a sun god furnace. Whoosh! Sun Huang's body was uncontrollably drawn into the furnace. Inside, azure and crimson divine flames intertwined, filling the entire space. Damn it! You possess two kinds of heavenly fire. Why won't you share just one with me? Sun Huang shouted in anger. Ji Xian did not respond to his query, but instead inquired, Are you ready to concede or not? I refuse. I would rather die than admit defeat. You are clearly not suppressing your strength. You are cheating. Sun Huang, in a fit of rage, plopped down on the ground, resorting to stubbornness. If you refuse, then you shall remain inside forever. Ji Xian closed the furnace lid. Ding, ding, ding. Moments later, Sun Huang began to pound on the furnace walls. You are unwilling to kill me, which means you have ulterior motives. If that is the case, let us endure this together. I, Sun Huang, am a spirit of the earth with an infinite lifespan. I refuse to believe I cannot outlast you. Sun Huang's voice was languid yet brash. Naive. Ji Xian sat calmly upon the surface of the water. How many years did it take you to ascend from 0 to the Saint Realm? Over 2,500 years, what of it? Do you know how old I am this year? Ji Xian asked with a smile. Sun Huang scoffed dismissively. Someone of your celestial cultivation is just an old fossil. Stop pretending to be youthful. You should have long since returned to the earth. He taunted viciously. Ji Xian intertwined his hands, weaving his life's timeline. Now take a look. Sun Huang peered through the gap, and the moment he grasped the truth, he was utterly stunned, his expression blank. In your 30s. What the hell, are you a ghost? Sun Huang exclaimed in shock. At 30, he had been nothing more than a rock, standing on the sea surface for 500 years, enduring the elements. I ascended from the Foundation Establishment realm to the Saint Sovereign realm in merely 5 years. I have a premonition that within a decade, I shall become an emperor, at which point my lifespan will extend to 1,000,000 years. If, in 10,000 years, I were to ascend to immortality, with a lifespan that knows no bounds. Do you believe you could endure such a fate? Ji Xian gently tapped the wall of the furnace. Sun Huang gasped in surprise. To become an immortal amidst the realms is nothing short of a fantastical dream. Yet, the man in white before him truly seemed capable of such a feat. Sun Huang felt a pang of trepidation. His bravado was merely a facade, and even a mere 1,000,000 years of confinement would be unbearable for him. What do you wish me to do? He inquired cautiously. Kneel and take me as your master. Chapter 104. Successful Apprenticeship. The sacred art of battle within the solar divine furnace, Sun Huang was momentarily taken aback by the proposition of being accepted as a disciple. How could he dare to accept such a challenge? Noticing his prolonged silence, Ji Xian continued, Should you choose to submit to me, I shall impart to you an ancient text of immortality. Sun Huang struck the furnace wall twice in disbelief. What nonsense are you spouting? There may not even exist a complete method of immortality across the realms. How could you possibly possess one? The Heavenly Emperor's sealing technique. Ji Xian raised his hand lightly, and a celestial energy, imbued with the essence of the sun and moon, gradually emanated from his fingertips, seeping into the furnace. Hiss! It's real. Sun Huang was astounded by the scent that carried the essence of immortality, as one transformed from celestial stone. How could he not be familiar with such a fragrance? What say you? Do I deceive you? Ji Xian chuckled softly. Sun Huang's heart was tumultuous. He had always cherished his freedom, unwilling to be bound by anyone. Yet, the allure of the immortal arts was simply too potent. Disciple Sun Huang pays respects to master. He gritted his teeth and bowed deeply. Notification. Successfully accepted Sun Huang as a disciple. Reward. Ancient Scripture of the Immortal Path Sacred Art of Battle X1 in the next moment. An ancient scripture exuding the essence of the great Tao materialized in the system space. Ji Xian hastily opened the scripture and scanned its contents. It was indeed a text that elucidated the laws of the Tao. The book contained but a few sparse phrases, all revolving around the transformations of techniques. If the creation domain could conjure any object at will, then the sacred art of battle could unleash any technique at will. System, activate a moment of enlightenment. Commencing cultivation of sacred art of battle, a series of golden ancient characters flew into Ji Xian's realm of consciousness, quietly hovering above. In that instant, he felt the resonance of all Tao patterns within his being. Rapidly, memories of past experiences flashed through Ji Xian's mind as his hands formed intricate seals, conjuring illusory figures that danced at his fingertips, ever-changing. The dragon pattern cauldron of the central domain, the 108,000 swords of Tianpeng. The void great seal of the esteemed elders of the Ji family. The purple sun of the master of the purple sun sect. Each technique that he had once encountered was now being perfectly replicated by Ji Xian, with even greater potency. The ability to replicate them was akin to a miraculous transformation. Ji Xian was filled with exhilaration. This skill was truly extraordinary. Master. That ancient scripture Sun Huang's faint voice emerged from the solar divine furnace. Ji Xian, generous in spirit, promptly tossed the sacred art of battle into the furnace. Lo and behold, it truly exists. Woohoo! Sun Huang exclaimed joyously. Prepare yourself, for I shall bestow upon you my teachings. Ji Xian gently tapped the lid of the furnace. Understood. Ji Xian directed a stream of pure primordial energy towards Sun Huang's lower abdomen. Clang. In the next moment, the primal energy seemed to encounter an insurmountable barrier, failing to be absorbed into the cycle of wheels. What? Why can't it enter? He manifested the golden eyes of departed fire, his divine gaze piercing through Sun Huang's entire being. To his astonishment, there was no cycle of wheels. How on earth did you cultivate, you monkey-headed fool? Ji Xian exclaimed, utterly taken aback. Just drinking the seawater of the infinite spirit sea every day allows for cultivation. Sun Huang stammered in response. Ji Xian helplessly covered his forehead. So it turns out this monkey, with such mediocre aptitude, took 2,000 years to attain sainthood, having never even come into contact with any cultivation methods. Very well, let me devise a plan for you. Just as Ji Xian was deep in thought, a commotion erupted at the valley's entrance. The previously cast-off Saint King had returned, bringing numerous allies, accompanied by a throng of human cultivators, including members of the Ji family. Fellow cultivators, join me in seizing the saint fire of the demon race. After our success, there will be ample rewards. The Saint King proclaimed to the gathered crowd. Rest assured, there is nothing that our Holy Land cannot resolve, replied one of the Holy Land members. Ji Xian sensed the disturbance, his expression darkening. How bothersome, stay outside. He directed his gaze towards the valley, unleashing a beam of purple light from his hand. A void capable of severing space loomed at the valley's entrance, blocking all paths. Is this the void space? Impossible, exclaimed an elder from the Ji family. Who dares to clandestinely study our Ji family's ancient texts? Bellowed an elder clad in black robes. Wu Miao stepped forward, saying, Esteemed seniors, even those of immense cultivation can grasp the rules of space. Why so hastily conclude that someone has stolen our ancient texts? The black-robed elder shook his head, saying, Little Taoist Wu Miao, you do not understand. To master the existence of the void without studying the Ji family's ancient texts is a feat accomplished by no more than 3 individuals in the entirety of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The presence of such a figure here is rather implausible. Ji Mingho gazed at the void, his heart beginning to waver. This is undoubtedly the aura of the void Tao scripture. Is that white-robed man the esteemed elder? His lips trembled slightly. The imperial scripture is the lifeblood of the ancient families and a significant secret. Should the Ji family discover that outsiders have stolen their ancient texts, they would surely mobilize their entire clan to eradicate that individual. Fellow cultivator, can this void be broken? A demon race Saint King stepped forward to inquire. The Ji family's elder shook his head, unable to discern. This individual's mastery of space is on par with mine. It cannot be unraveled in the short term. The demon race Saint King gritted his teeth and shouted to the small demons trapped within the fire dragon tomb. All demons, heed my command. Exert all your strength to seize the saint fire of the demon race. The saint fire must not be lost. Yes, though the demon race, separated by the void, trembled at Ji Xian's prowess, they still obeyed the command. Charge! Leading thousands of demon race cultivators, the Saint Lord, Wolf Taiwei, surged towards the blood lake. Aotian, it is all yours. Ji Xian formed seals with his hands, preparing to refine his energy into Sun Huang's body through the sun god furnace. Momentarily unable to deal with these minor nuisances. Yes, Aotian shed his human form, soaring into the sky, instantly transforming into a golden divine dragon. The dragon's body stretched for thousands of feet, its golden scales shimmering with an aura of majesty. The unique pressure emanating from the celestial beings swept through the surroundings. causing all the little demons present to feel as if an immense mountain weighed heavily upon them. This is a feast bestowed by the young master. How dare I miss it? Aotian let out a resounding roar and dove downwards. Is that truly a real dragon? Exclaimed a cultivator at the Saint King level, astonished. The crowd turned to him, revealing an elderly man clad in animal skins, his age evident. He was none other than Lu Meng's master, the Grand Elder of the Sacred Beast Mountain. We must capture him. If we can seize this dragon along with the Stone Spirit, our Sacred Beast Mountain will no longer have to heed any other power in the 3,000 prefectures. The old man's breath quickened, his face turning crimson. The onlookers were equally startled. Hadn't real dragons gone extinct? How could one possibly exist? Although the Saint King of the Qing Jiao clan possessed immense power, he too felt an inexplicable pressure. Members of the Ji family, however, were filled with fervent desire. They were well aware of the immense value of the complete dragon corpse they held within their clan. They would never relinquish this young true dragon to anyone. Spare me. Master, save me. Where's the Holy Sun? The lamentations echoed from within the dragon tomb. Aotian flicked his golden tail, sweeping through the crowd and decimating numerous little demons effortlessly. Qinghan, let us join forces. There may still be a chance. Wolf Tai Hui spread his blood-red wings and howled at the sky. Yet, as he surveyed the area, he found no trace of Qinghan. At that moment, Qinghan was cowering in a crevice, trembling with fear. Having previously felt the bloodline suppression from Aotian, he found himself devoid of any desire to resist now that his race had been exposed. Damn it, I cannot hold back. Wolf Tai Hui gritted his teeth. For the tribe, he roared, his bloodlust surging skyward as he charged towards Aotian, a mere insect shaking a tree. Aotian scoffed at the approaching wolf demon. With a swift flick of his tail, half of Wolf Tai Hui's body was obliterated, the other half vanishing like a shooting star into the horizon. A lingering echo resonated from the heavens. I shall return. Chapter 105. Recreating the battlefield of divine combat, guided by the flickering star upon the blood-red lake. Ji Xian faced the sun god furnace, seated in midair. The system began to replicate the original attributes of Sun Huoguang. Ding. Congratulations. Host has acquired the battlefield of divine combat X1, battlefield of divine combat, divided into divine and demon realms, each with augmentation effects. Divine realm effect temporarily increases the host's attack power several-fold. The multiplier calculated based on the host's cultivated techniques. Current triggerable multiplier, 5 times. Demon realm effect temporarily enhances the host's cultivation. The number of levels enhanced is determined by the host's demonic techniques. Current enhancement, 0. To think it possesses buff-type augmentation effects. Ji Xian gazed intently at the system interface's annotations. Merge. Suddenly, a domain spanning 1,000 feet appeared within Ji Xian's sight. The domain was divided into 2 regions. One side gleamed with golden light, mist flowing gracefully. Ethereal silhouettes of celestial beings rippling, radiating the utmost sanctity. On the other side, a scene reminiscent of a sea of blood and mountains of corpses unfolded before the eyes, with the anguished wails of the deceased echoing hauntingly. It seems I must pay greater attention to cultivating demonic arts, murmured Ji Xian. Suddenly, the lid of the sun god furnace began to quiver. Ji Xian, with a flick of his fingertip, stabilized the furnace. What is happening? The flames are fierce, he inquired. Master, I find it exceedingly difficult to absorb. Sun Huoguang gritted his teeth in response. Just moments ago, Ji Xian had activated the sun god furnace, intending to refine the primal energy within himself using the azure and crimson heavenly flames. However, it appeared that the process was not proceeding smoothly. Sun Huoguang sat cross-legged within the furnace, his expression contorted with ferocity. The primal energy was thwarted by the violet-black aura emanating from his body, making no progress. What is this? Ji Xian's countenance shifted as he beheld the black mist escaping from Sun Huoguang's surface. The violet-black vapor was entwined similarly to the black hands. His expression turned grave as he communicated telepathically to the furnace. How did you acquire this dark energy within you? When I was still a mere stone, out of boredom, I ingested this black mist daily, which hastened my transformation into a spirit, Sun Huoguang explained. From the unfettered sea of spirits? Indeed, Master, Ji Xian mused in silence. After a moment, he retrieved a black golden long rod. And this rod? It was bestowed upon me by a senior from the sea. A senior? They simply gave you a quasi-emperor weapon? Ji Xian narrowed his eyes, his tone growing stern. Alas, though I am unruly, I would not lie about such matters. Sun Huoguang trembled at the killing intent radiating from Ji Xian. This aura was even more intimidating than during their earlier battle. That senior was an enormous fish. After handing me the rod, it flew away without looking back. Since leaving the North Undersea region, I have not encountered such a large fish again, Sun Huoguang continued. A flying fish from the North Undersea region? Could it be a Kuan? Ji Xian pondered. Ancient texts recorded that the Kuan was a primordial celestial beast, renowned alongside the true dragon and the heavenly phoenix, achieving the status of an emperor upon maturity. If such a being were to present a quasi-emperor weapon, it would indeed be beyond reproach. The dark energy is gradually dissipating. You may need to remain in the furnace for a while longer, Ji Xian remarked. No worries. No worries. I've endured 500 years of bird droppings on my face. What is there to fear from a trifling flame? Meanwhile, Ji Xian began to refine the purple fire seed. The Yin sacred fire governs the Yin meridians. He compressed the towering fire seed into a small sphere, and with a gentle touch, the azure and crimson flames intertwined. In due time, the fist-sized fire seed was entirely refined by Ji Xian. At this moment, his eyes brimmed with three-colored flames, and his leaf fire golden pupils grew even more formidable. Ji Xian casually discarded the firestone waste to the side. Crack! The waste struck the sun god furnace, causing a fissure to form. Whoosh! In an instant, a silver beam shot skyward, dispersing the clouds above. A silver cross coordinate materialized in the sky, marking the space below instantaneously. This unexpected turn of events took Ji Xian by surprise, prompting him to seize the waste. But it was too late. The power within the debris had been utterly depleted. How could a coordinate stone be concealed within? Ji Xian was perplexed. A coordinate stone is a rare gem utilized by cultivators for positioning, treasure hunting, and charting courses, holding equal stature with the likes of pictorial stones and transmission stones. This particular coordinate stone bore a mark, its activation meticulously orchestrated by human intent. Yet, the Fire Dragon Tomb is a secretive locale. Who would venture here to establish such a thing? Ji Xian ascended into the sky, soaring to a height of several thousand zhang to scrutinize the residual power of the coordinates. It had already dissipated. How swift and efficient. The roaring sound of waves from thousands of miles away captured Ji Xian's attention. He turned to gaze at the boundless divine sea, an expanse that seemed to stretch endlessly. The force of the crashing waves was formidable, causing some small islands to drift amidst the surf. Suddenly, a thought sparked in Ji Xian's mind. The power of creation manifested from his palm, instantly granting him mastery over the terrain of the Fire Dragon Tomb. As I suspected, this Fire Dragon Tomb did not arise naturally. It emerged from the sea. Could it be mere coincidence that such a coordinate stone drifted here from the vast ocean? Ji Xian's mind raced. He recalled that when ships navigate the seas, they often deploy numerous controllable lighthouses in advance. These lighthouses, adrift on the ocean, serve to guide vessels and act as beacons, illuminating the path ahead. So, for whom does the Fire Dragon Tomb and this coordinate stone serve as a lighthouse? No. The so-called calamity of the comet does not pertain to the Fire Dragon Tomb, Ji Xian concluded. The Yin Dragon, while formidable, was but a saint's realm. There were indeed saints lurking within the myriad demon states, yet such beasts could not wreak catastrophic havoc upon the myriad demon states. This did not align with the calamity synonymous with the comet. The comet alluded to something else. The great calamity of the myriad demon states had yet to truly arrive. Indeed, the comet represents temptation and deception. Ji Xian gazed into the boundless depths of the sea, his thoughts swirling. Suddenly, at the far reaches of the unknown sea, an enormous entity emerged. Enshrouded in sea mist, its form could not be fully discerned, but it vaguely resembled a coffin, surrounded by twinkling starlight. Ji Xian's eyes emitted two beams of purple divine light, piercing towards the distant coffin like sharpened blades. As expected, the divine light was extinguished by a formidable imperial might. Something colossal is approaching. Having uttered this thought, he returned to the side of the sun god furnace. There remained time before the coffin would arrive. He needed to assist Sun Huang in refining his power first. As for other matters, they would temporarily require the local forces of the myriad demon states to address. Chapter 106. The imperial coffin astonishes the world, the great saint realm. Along the coast of the boundless divine sea, various powerful beings from the myriad demon states gathered. The Saint Kings of the Peacock, Azure Flood Dragon, Celestial Wolf, and several other great clans hurried to respond to this sudden upheaval. Disciples from the holy lands of the other 3,000 states convened here as well. Ji Mingho stood amidst the crowd, cradled like a star or moon by the gathered disciples of the holy lands. Clad in flowing purple robes, his handsome and extraordinary visage set him apart. Behind him stood the unfathomable Taoist, pure and untainted, exuding an aura of simplicity and ethereality. Affected by this anomaly, most of the cultivators stationed at the mouth of the Fire Dragon Grave Valley have retreated. Aside from the Sacred Beast Mountain and a few persistent demonic clans, no one is willing to squander their time there any longer. That void is impenetrable even to the Sacred King of the Ji family, let alone others. The boundless divine sea stretches endlessly, its dark waves surging violently, as if a dragon is thrashing beneath the surface. Countless miles away, a massive fog bank is slowly approaching. Through the haze, several great stars can be seen bobbing, radiating resplendent light, bound by innumerable iron chains to an unseen object. Several formidable beings at the Sacred King realm each projected a strand of divine thought, tentatively probing into the mist. Clang, clang, clang. Just a few sounds of metal clashing echoed, and the divine thoughts vanished, as if swallowed by the turbulent, boundless divine sea. The gathered cultivators collectively inhaled sharply. Having reached the Sacred King realm, they could already assume the role of a leader in a sacred land, becoming significant figures. Yet here, even the divine thoughts of such individuals simply disappeared without a trace. Let me give it a try. At that moment, a demonic cultivator stepped forward from the crowd. This was a golden hound of the sacred master realm, born with a divine eye on its forehead, reputed to possess the ability to perceive all. Activating its divine eye, a beam of golden divine light shot forth like a sword. I see it. It is a coffin. It was a bronze coffin, intricately engraved with complex Tao patterns, surrounded by. The three-eyed divine hound's expression suddenly stiffened, its voice trailing off. What is it? Speak quickly. The crowd urged, their curiosity piqued. Don't leave us hanging. As he hesitated, the atmosphere grew tense. Even the sacred king at the front turned to him, awaiting his response. Suddenly, a blue spray of blood erupted into the sky. Soaring several feet high, the eyeball on the three-eyed divine hound's forehead shattered, its head exploding into fragments. With a thud, its body collapsed, lifeless. Oh no, he is dead? Those clustered around him screamed in terror, hastily scattering in all directions. How could he suddenly die? One cultivator questioned. Could it be because he uncovered the truth hidden within the mist? A sacred land cultivator interjected. Impossible, came the incredulous response. Can merely catching a glimpse from thousands of miles away truly lead to death? Despite their disbelief, the cultivators quickly fell silent. No one wished to attract danger and face the grim fate of death. Over a month passed, and the fog drew ever closer, allowing the onlookers to vaguely discern what lay within. It was a colossal coffin, resplendent in blue and gold, its surface adorned with countless depictions of strange beasts, exuding an imperial aura that resonated with the very heavens. Surrounding it were 9 shining stars, enveloped in a blood-red divine light, emanating an ominous and terrifying presence. On the surface of the sea floated a patch of crimson divine soil, teeming with countless restless spirits and corpses, occasionally pierced by their chilling wails. Even from a distance of thousands of miles, those cries instilled profound dread. This must be an ominous entity. It cannot be allowed to drift to the myriad demon continent. A venerable king of the demon race boldly stepped forward, resolved to repel the ominous coffin. Clad in azure-scaled armor, he stood atop the coastal city walls. Behind him lay a renowned military stronghold in the demon state, fortified with numerous sacred formations, impenetrable in both offense and defense, steadfast for millennia. Legend has it that a millennium ago, it withstood 3 assaults from a revered sage of a neighboring state, earning countless accolades. Activate the formations, the ancient king bellowed, prompting the simultaneous operation of over 10 sacred offensive arrays. Countless intricate patterns danced across the heavens, radiant beams intertwining as if a myriad of talismans inscribed with divine runes soared aloft, a sight of unparalleled grandeur. Boom. Hundreds of lethal beams of divine light erupted from a single point, shooting forth with the swiftness of arrows released from a bowstring. The divine radiance wove into the phantom of a true dragon, its overwhelming presence surging toward the coffin shrouded in mist. In an instant, the thick clouds above were cleaved asunder, the dragon's specter descending upon the coffin like a celestial body. Bang, bang, bang. The multitude of spirits upon the blood-colored sacred soil suffered catastrophic blows, their wails echoing painfully. The advance of the mist was momentarily halted. It worked, exclaimed the cultivators along the coast. Yet, in the next heartbeat, the azure coffin suddenly emanated a sinister, otherworldly glow, from which a torrent of black mist surged forth as if it were awakening. Swish! A colossal azure hand, enshrouded in swirling black mist, materialized from thin air, striking toward the coastal city. The hand towered high, exuding an oppressive imperial aura, a force capable of toppling mountains and seas. Puff, puff, puff. Some cultivators of the saintly realm could not withstand this overwhelming pressure, perishing instantly. Boom. The so-called indestructible fortress crumbled under a single strike, and all cultivators within were instantly turned to a mass of blood essence, consumed by the azure hand, including the ancient king himself. The azure coffin darkened in hue, while the spirits beneath the sacred soil rejoiced, as if bathed in spring rain. They have been sacrificed, exclaimed a king from the G family in astonishment. Just then, the spirits upon the blood-soaked earth began to mobilize, advancing across the sea. All were cultivators of the saintly realm, their bodies radiating a dense, eerie aura, striking terror in the hearts of onlookers. Prepare for battle, the demon king roared. In the blink of an eye, several months passed. Within the fire dragon tomb, Sun Huang had refined all of his primal essence, achieving the 4th level of the Saint Master realm. Although traces of the eerie energy lingered within him, they were of no consequence. Ding. Host successfully passes on power to Sun Huang, triggering a return of 1.35 million times, restoring cultivation to the 4th level of the Great Saint realm. At intervals, a sound reminiscent of a valve being opened echoed. Puff. The sacred power within the wheel sea erupted, propelling Ji Xian's cultivation to immeasurable heights. Saint Respect Realm, 5th level. Saint Respect Realm, 6th level. Perfected Saint Respect Realm. Great Saint Realm, 4th level of the Great Saint Realm. After calming his breath, Ji Xian stowed the solar divine furnace and rose from the blood lake. It is time to leave. Yes, master. With a wave of his hand, the void at the entrance of the fire dragon tomb dissipated instantly. The station cultivators were jolted awake. Heavens, we have finally broken through. We have endured this for several months. It was not incorrect. someone emerged, a thief of the sacred flame? Numerous cultivators, including those from the holy ground, turned their gazes inward. A man clad in white strode forth, exuding a rich aura of ethereal spirit, resplendent as jade, and strikingly transcendent. Following him was a monkey demon with reddish-brown fur, bouncing enthusiastically. It was the stone spirit. The elder of the sacred beast mountain gazed with fervent intensity. He produced a beast-controlling ring and advanced with great strides, closely followed by other demon cultivators. Halt! Surrender the stone spirit, and I shall spare your life, commanded the elder of the sacred beast mountain. Return our demon clan's sacred flame. Chapter 107. Confrontation at the valley entrance. Several hundred cultivators from the holy ground and demon cultivators remained. Ji Xian narrowed his eyes, exuding a palpable aura of murderous intent. At that moment, Ao Tian flew in from behind, his face glistening with grease, his body round and plump. Young master, everything behind has been dealt with. Ji Xian nodded in acknowledgement. Then, as if sensing something, he soared into the air, gazing towards the direction of the unstable divine sea. I am the elder of the sacred beast mountain, and I have awaited your arrival for some time. We have long sought that stone spirit, and it must be ours. If you do not wish to offend the sacred beast mountain, I urge you to relinquish it at once. An elderly voice called out from below. Many demon cultivators, emboldened by their elder's presence, clamored for the sacred flame. Silence. Ji Xian spoke softly, activating his divine sight, the purple radiance illuminating the battlefield, observing the stillness and movement. Within a span of thousands of miles, nearly 6 cities had fallen completely. The coastal lands were drenched in crimson, countless demon cultivators lying defeated. And the flames of war had even reached the Dragon of Fire's tomb. The various demon kings were engaged in combat, with a formidable spirit. Both sides currently at a stalemate. Above the sea, an ancient bronze coffin was surrounded by 9 great stars, floating heavily. A faint phantom, towering 1,000 feet high, emerged from the coffin, drawing in the lingering essence of the deceased cultivators. The phantom was enveloped in a subtle primal aura, its shadow indistinct and shrouded in mystery. Was this the power derived from a human ritual? Ji Xian was profoundly familiar with that aura. Despite its altered appearance, it was still recognizable. The black hand that had attacked him was indeed connected to the organization of quantity. With this realization, his breath grew heavy. May I inquire, friend, do you truly possess such audacity to disregard the summons of the holy ground? The elder below spoke again. Indeed, while others may neglect the sacred flames of the Taiyin, my Firefox clan cannot, declared an elder of the Firefox tribe, his entire being awash in vibrant red. The other demon clans had long since retreated. Only they remained to await the outcome. Ji Xian turned, gazing down upon them as if they were mere lifeless objects. I just stated, be silent. Did you not hear me? In an instant, a chill pervaded the air, and the Dragon of Fire's tomb was engulfed in surging purple flames. This is the sacred flames of Taiyin, a demon lord exclaimed in shock. Though it was a blazing fire, it now emanated an icy coldness, causing the cultivators to feel as though they had plunged into an endless abyss of ice, their bodies stiffening and unable to move. The demon clan cultivators have already begun to entertain thoughts of retreat. The sacred fire of the Taiyin now belongs to another, and seeking it again holds no significance. Fellow cultivator, since the fire seed has been refined, we of the Firefox clan shall not intrude any longer. The sacred king of the Firefox clan shook his body and prepared to lead his kin away. Sun Huang let out a cold laugh, saying, you old fool. Where were you all this time? Is it not too late to leave now? After months of interaction, he had gradually discerned Ji Xian's temperament. In this situation, there was essentially no hope left. As expected, Ji Xian's fingertips released a strand of purple-black flame, diminutive as a candle, slowly drifting downward. Hurry and leave. The sacred king of the Firefox clan bellowed, channeling secret power to traverse the void, intent on escaping with his younger kin. A cracking sound echoed, and to his terror, he realized he was being locked in place. Perish. The moment the purple flame touched the sacred king of the Firefox clan, a chilling aura surged toward the heavens. The sacred king's body rapidly shriveled, leaving only a pile of shattered ice shards. At that very moment, a roar erupted from the edge of the undetermined divine sea. It was you who stole my sacred fire. The phantom atop the ancient coffin bellowed, shaking the skies. Die. A massive green hand descended once more, colossal and forceful. An overwhelming demonic aura enveloped the area, and several battling sacred kings instantly erupted into a mist of blood, devoid of life. A mere corpse dares to claim the title of emperor. Who granted you such audacity? Ji Xian soared into the air, his black hair dancing wildly, and with a fierce punch unleashed, the golden sacred thunder collided with the indomitable fist intent, resounding thunderously. The clash of azure and gold forces reverberated through the void, shaking the very ground beneath them. Ultimately, Ji Xian's punch managed to counter the green palm force, dissipating it into swirling black mist. Yet, Ji Xian's fist did not relent. Like a roaring lion, it surged forward. Boom! The impact of his punch shattered one of the 9 great stars hovering above the imperial coffin, causing countless bloodthirsty auras to dissipate on the spot. The imperial coffin trembled, tilting slightly downward. Fire thief, you shall not die a good death. The phantom roared, chaotic demonic energy swirling as if ancient deities were awakening. Do not be hasty. I will personally incinerate you later. Ji Xian pointed, transforming the essence of gold and stone into sharp swords of divine light, exceedingly fierce, slaying all intruding souls with a single stroke. He then turned his gaze to the elders of the Sacred Beast Mountain below. Ah, Sacred Beast Mountain, very well. You have vexed me time and again. I shall certainly pay a visit in the future. The elder of Sacred Beast Mountain was rendered speechless, for that green palm force contained an overwhelming imperial might, which had been shattered by this young man's fist. Predecessor, I am Huang. Your disciple is here. Are there any issues with leaving these people to you? Ji Xian inquired. None, truly none, Sun Huang stammered, seemingly anticipating something. You mischievous monkey. You 1T rise early without profit. Ji Xian retrieved a pitch-black iron rod from the void and tossed it to him. If you perform well, I may consider granting you the dragon origin fruit. Thank you, master. Remember, leave not a single one behind. Having spoken, he departed with Ao Tian. Before leaving, Ao Tian shot a fierce glare at Sun Huang, filled with indignation. Ha, you slippery little eel, you are quite amusing. He then seized an iron rod and charged violently towards the cultivators of Holy Beast Mountain. You all shall perish. The elder of Holy Beast Mountain, witnessing Ji Xian's departure, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Watching the oncoming Sun Huang, a smile crept upon his lips. A mere monkey of the sage realm. I shall see what tempest you can stir. Seize him. But in the next instant, darkness enveloped his vision, and his body was torn asunder. The valley echoed with cries for help and wails, a scene of hell on earth, bathed in crimson light. Ji Xian traversed thousands of miles in a single step, drawing ever closer to the shadow of the demon. Ding. Detected host gifting the Quasi-Emperor weapon, the C-Stabilizing Needle X1. Triggering a return of 1,590,000 times. Acquired 6th grade immortal weapon, the Starry Dragon Spear X1. Chapter 108. The Emperor's corpse on the western shore of the unstable Divine Sea. The blood of living beings stained the earth red. Countless corpses and shattered stones littered the ground, and a chilling wind howled through the desolation. The surviving demon clan cultivators cowered in corners, too fearful to peek out. A faint sound of spatial ripples reverberated, marking the traces of traversing the void. The Holy Lands and noble families, sensing the dire situation, had long since fled, leaving only a handful of human cultivators to hold the line. On the sea, innumerable spirits sought to land, craving the taste of fresh blood. The cultivators of Wanyao Prefecture were engulfed in despair. Just moments ago, the shadow above the copper coffin had struck again, slaying the last few remaining Sage Kings at the shore, wiping out the current high-end combat power. If the Sage Ancestor does not emerge soon, Wanyao Prefecture will fall. In the midst of such a favorable situation, the shadow on the coffin bore a grave expression, fixated on the horizon to the west. A man clad in white descended from the sky, his steps flickering in and out of existence, his aura of immortality flowing around him, shrouded in mystery. To have repelled my azure clear palm head-on, this individual is indeed extraordinary. The voice of the shadow was as grating as a saw cutting through wood. Soon, Ji Xian appeared on the western side of the unstable Divine Sea, the two of them merely 1,000 miles apart, their gazes locked. Ji Xian spoke first. Are you a member of the Quantum Organization? The shadow on the coffin attempted to respond, but Ji Xian interjected. Listen well, you need only answer yes or no. Huh, a mere Sage Realm cultivator, how arrogant. Who are you to dictate my involvement? The shadow scoffed, seemingly dismissing Ji Xian. Ji Xian's brows furrowed, his displeasure evident. Answer incorrectly, and I shall strike you. Buzz. Before the shadow could react, Ji Xian's golden hand had already struck out. The palm imprint loomed large like a towering mountain, heavy and imposing, radiating a sense of indomitable spirit. Seeking death, the shadow was incensed, having never faced such provocation before. It wielded a hand like a knife, infused with a dense azure light, slashing to the left. Supreme imperial intent surged forth, utterly domineering. The azure hand and the golden palm imprint clashed for but an instant before being torn apart. Crack! A crisp sound of a slap resonated through the air. Even though the figure was but an incorporeal shadow, the individual still felt the full force of the blow. Their head erupted in an instant, disintegrating into thick, swirling smoke, which was whisked away by the fierce sea breeze. Pooh! I had thought this to be a noteworthy character. It turns out to be merely a shadow of a quasi-emperor. A calamity saint dared to proclaim themselves an emperor while bearing a corpse of one. Upon discerning the true nature of this figure, Ji Xian scoffed repeatedly. Holding such arrogance in contempt, the shadow coalesced once more, albeit appearing noticeably fainter than before. Ji Xian's casual strike had evidently taken its toll. Well. He suppressed his rage, uttering the word well several times. Your arrogance suggests that I must expedite my sacrificial methods. Today, I shall undoubtedly prove my supremacy with this corpse. With a resounding clang, the coffin lid slid open, revealing a sinister emperor's corpse lying quietly within. Its modern design featured a sliding cover. Ji Xian made no attempt to halt the fusion. As to him, this was merely a trifling matter. Even if a true emperor were to descend, he was confident in his ability to repel them with his arsenal of tactics. Moments later, the emperor's corpse slowly rose, emanating an overwhelming aura of death. Its form resembled that of a bat, yet possessed human limbs, rendering it grotesque. It appeared to be an ancient creature attempting to resurrect itself as a reanimator, seeking to validate its existence through death. Ancient texts chronicled the extinction of such beings millennia ago, yet here lay a corpse remarkably preserved. Ji Xian's intrigue regarding the forces behind this emperor's corpse deepened. With ties to the quantitative organization and the means to preserve ancient entities, this was undoubtedly a treasure trove. A thunderous roar erupted from the ancient creature, its visage exceedingly fierce, enough to instill terror in those who beheld it. Heavens! What manner of being has emerged from that coffin? Just a glance has drained my entire holy power. A human cultivator interjected. Recalling the words of several venerable sages before their demise, it seems to be an emperor's coffin. An emperor's coffin? Does it not house an emperor? The realization swept through the crowd of cultivators. A collective gasp echoed among them as they comprehended why the denizens of the sacred land had fled in droves. The emperor's coffin had indeed manifested. Impossible. It has been ages since an emperor has appeared in the realms. A cultivator rushed forth to correct this misconception. Their numerous actions had been constrained by the Imperial League. The last emergence of an emperor occurred over 20,000 years ago. A sigh of relief spread among the cultivators. As long as it wasn't an emperor's return, they could rest easy. Otherwise, the myriad demons of the state would surely sink beneath the waves. At this moment, they could only pray that the unexpectedly appearing figure in white could hold them off for a while longer. The esteemed ancestors of the various sacred beings were striving to break through their barriers, and soon would arrive with their full might. At that time, the myriad clans of the demon state might still possess a glimmer of hope for survival. The ancient creature declared, as the foremost warrior of the Mingshan. Today I shall slaughter all within this state. Its piercing wail shattered the heavens, fracturing the clouds as if the very firmament were on the brink of collapse. Ji Xian's dark hair danced wildly, his aura surging. In this millennium, I have not claimed the title of emperor. Who dares to stand before me? He acted decisively, forming a claw imprint that summoned the thunder of the heavens to strike downwards. Layer upon layer of lightning cascaded, reminiscent of a dragon born anew, sharp as a myriad of daggers. Clang! The ancient creature unfurled its wings, completely shielding its body beneath. Only after the thunderous energy dissipated did it reveal its head. Remarkably, it had withstood the onslaught. Ji Xian was taken aback. The ancient creature's form sustained little damage, its wings merely tattered and irreparable. Even so, this was astonishing. The true dragon sorcery was indeed of celestial caliber. It seemed the chasm between the sacred and imperial realms was far from simple. Ji Xian mused. Now it is my turn. The ancient beast bared its fangs and unleashed waves of sonic blasts. The 9 sounds of the demon bat. 9 sound waves surged forth, stirring the ocean into a colossal tsunami, towering thousands of feet high, sweeping towards the myriad demon continent. You shall also experience my technique. Ji Xian invoked the sacred battle art. Instantly, countless golden ancient characters swirled above the sea of wheels, perfectly replicating the 9 sounds of the demon bat in an instant. Roar! Ji Xian let out a sharp cry, unleashing a similar sonic assault that shattered several mountains beneath him into dust, transforming them into countless sandstorms that surged forward. Within this strike, the supreme dragon's roar from the true dragon sorcery subtly intertwined, amplifying its might. Boom! The collision of sea and sandstorm tore the very fabric of the void, causing the heavens, mountains, and even the continent to tremble. The sky caved in. The earth sank, a scene of apocalyptic grandeur. Goodness, is this truly the extent of my master's power? Sun Huang, watching from a distance, felt a chill run down his spine. Had it not been for the protective buff granted by the earth spirit, he might have been reduced to dust the moment he attempted to show off before his master. I vow never to flaunt my prowess before my master again. Sun Huang raised his hand skyward, making a loud oath. Humph, this is but a glimpse of my lord's true capabilities. How could a mere speck of dust, like you, fathom the brilliance of the full moon? A contemptuous snort came from Aotian. You insufferable mudfish, are you seeking punishment? I am a true dragon. With a furious roar, Aotian charged forth, engaging in a fierce struggle with the monkey. Chapter 109. Slaying the Emperor's Corpse. The Emperor descends. Ji Xian stood aloft at the pinnacle of the mountains, resembling a celestial king gazing down upon mortals. He fixed his gaze upon the tilted imperial coffin miles away, a smile gracing his lips. 3 of the 9 great stars encircling the coffin had already shattered, and the coffin's angle of inclination grew ever greater, one corner perilously close to touching the sea. The Emperor's corpse, disheveled and covered in dust, crawled out from the coffin. The force generated by the previous explosion was indeed terrifying. Even he could only brace himself against the coffin, surveying his surroundings. The Emperor noted that 1/3 of the great stars had been obliterated. Should they all be destroyed, the coffin would spiral out of control and plunge into the ocean. How infuriating! I have yet to attain the status of Emperor, and I lack the strength to wield this coffin. Were it not for this, how could I possibly be at a disadvantage? The 9 blood stars refined by the Nether Emperor had thus far lost 3. He cast a cold gaze at Ji Xian, growing increasingly wary. The individual possesses the astonishing ability to flawlessly replicate his skills. What arcane secrets has he mastered? The 9 sounds of the demon bat is considered one of his clan's esoteric techniques, capable of shattering an entire star domain upon reaching its zenith. Hey human, what skill is there in clandestinely learning another secret arts? Are you bold enough to confront me with your own prowess? The ancient behemoth thundered. Ji Xian tilted his head slightly, a hint of perplexity gracing his features, for he had yet to encounter such an extraordinary request. Lihua Jintong. The flames of the heavens, red, blue, and purple, swirled within Ji Xian's eyes. With a resounding clang, a breathtaking divine radiance surged forth. The breath of heavenly fire morphed into the shadow of a dragon, twisting and coiling, imbued with a fierce intent to strike at the imperial coffin. A torrential wave of heat surged forth, leaving the imperial corpse feeling as though it were on the verge of melting. The only recourse was to retreat once more into the coffin, nursing a quiet resentment. Blast it! Did not Lord Ming Di proclaim that the 10,000 Beasts continent was feeble? Why, upon my arrival, do I find myself entangled in this predicament? He seethed in frustration. In a land where no emperor had emerged for several hundred millennia, how could a figure like the man in white possibly exist? Bang, bang, bang. In an instant, 3 massive stars surrounding the coffin shattered. A deluge of stellar debris plummeted into the boundless divine sea, stirring up towering waves as if intent on devouring everything in their path. The coffin plummeted another 1,000 feet, its edge now partially submerged in the sea. Inside, the imperial corpse was violently ejected. Damn it, 3 more shattered. He grumbled, poking his head out with a forced smile. Friend, you might as well continue replicating my skills. Ji Xian casually brushed a few strands of hair aside. Well then, let us conclude our play for today. You are weak and rather tedious. It is time to depart. With that, Ji Xian summoned a divine sword imprint at his fingertips, imbued with transcendent sword intent, and strolled toward the coffin. The imperial corpse, incensed, felt a surge of fury. Though he had not yet attained the status of emperor, he was nonetheless a formidable expert among the tribulations of the sacred. How dare this individual declare him weak? You have some audacity. Even if you possess some skills, do you truly think I fear you? The imperial corpse clasped his hands together, uttering a series of ancient incantations, as if calling forth something. Chaos Divine Lamp. A low hum resonated as a copper-hued ancient lamp materialized in the void, shaped like a lotus and exuding tendrils of chaotic essence. What a pure essence of chaos. Ji Xian's eye sparkled. At last, something worthy of his attention had appeared. In that moment, the chaotic patterns on his skin began to shimmer, and strands of primordial chaotic energy began to spread outward, seemingly yearning for the lamp. Chaotic azure sky. The imperial corpse bellowed, wielding the Chaos Divine Lamp as its colorless, hazy aura billowed outward like thick smoke. In an instant, the previously calmed, boundless divine sea once again roiled with unrest. Whoosh! A nebulous beam shot directly toward Ji Xian, fluctuating between form and formlessness, at times shimmering with myriad colors, and at others appearing colorless and invisible. This was the essence of chaos, ever-changing, eluding understanding. Thank you for the gift. Ji Xian once more activated the War Saint technique, directly mirroring the chaotic ray, transforming it into a stunning counterstrike. This strike, imbued with the essence of chaotic patterns, wielded a tremendous power. The force of chaos collided, its might resounding, as thousands of miles of the undetermined divine sea's shoreline were obliterated in an instant. All cities, corpses, and even the continent itself were erased, transformed into primordial particles that dissipated into the cosmos. Everything transpired in utter silence. The numerous cultivators of the demon race, caught unaware, were annihilated by the waves of chaotic energy. Such is the nature of battles among the mighty, capable of shattering the heavens and the earth in a mere heartbeat, leaving lowly cultivators with no chance to react or flee. Ao Tian and Sun Hua Wang, engaged in a diplomatic confrontation miles away, were momentarily stirred by this surge of energy, both casting their gazes toward the shore. Upon confirming Ji Xian's safety, they resumed their fierce combat. Historically, the left side of the wave had suffered defeat, and the Emperor's corpse remained effortlessly suppressed by Ji Xian. This is where it concludes. With a swift motion, Ji Xian traversed 1,000 miles, appearing instantaneously above the Emperor's coffin. The Emperor's corpse, startled by the sudden appearance of the man in white, retreated in fright. I shall ask you one final time. Are you a member of the Quantitative Organization? Ji Xian's flowing black hair billowed in the wind as he looked down upon the Emperor's corpse with an imposing presence. The sword of celestial decapitation, gripped tightly in his hand, radiated an aura of terrifying destruction. Do you comprehend the consequences of your actions? The Emperor's corpse, feeling the blade pressed against its throat, spoke in an increasingly hoarse voice. I am a denizen of the underworld mountain. Do you wish to oppose the entire Forbidden Zone? Enough with your incessant prattle. Perish. A streak of azure light erupted from the sword of celestial decapitation, cleaving the Emperor's corpse in two. A blue soul surged forth from the corpse's brow, attempting to escape. With a sweeping gesture, Ji Xian summoned the power of creation, firmly grasping the soul in his palm. Soul search. His boundless spiritual energy surged into the soul, poised to extract valuable information. Suddenly, an incomprehensibly formidable mental force expelled Ji Xian's consciousness, triggering the self-destruction of the Emperor's soul. The dense imperial aura dissipated on the spot. Undoubtedly, this was the work of a great emperor. Well concealed indeed. The quantitative organization truly thrives in the shadows. Ji Xian scoffed coldly. In that case, I shall take both this emperor's coffin and the chaotic divine lamp. He reached toward the emperor's coffin, as the remaining 3 blood-red stars exploded violently. You dare! At that moment, a thunderous voice resonated through the heavens and the earth. With that single utterance, the world transformed, the winds and clouds swirling violently. An overwhelming imperial aura enveloped the realm, as the clouds hanging high in the sky plummeted, threatening to collapse the very heavens. The demon race's holy sovereign rushed from miles away, hastening to the front lines. Yet, upon arrival, he sensed the immense pressure. Such potent imperial might. He had been a witness to the imperial battles thousands of years ago, intimately familiar with this aura. Cease all advance. The demon sovereign hastily signaled to halt the troops behind him. There can be no mistake. This is indeed imperial might. His heart constricted, as the cataclysmic events of millennia past flashed vividly before his eyes. Heed my command. All cultivators retreat to 30,000 miles away. An emperor has emerged. Chapter 110. The curtain falls. In the coastal expanse, the void trembled, revealing an unfathomably deep black vortex. A formidable imperial aura emanated from within, striking terror into the hearts of all who felt it. Thousands of miles away, Sun Huang and Ao Tian halted their actions, their gazes fixed upon the ominous black vortex. Beads of cold sweat trickling down their brows. Master seems to be in danger, Sun Huang stammered. The young master will be fine. Ao Tian shook his head, displaying no concern whatsoever. Ji Xian stared intently at the black whirlpool, his expression remarkably calm. He understood that lurking within the vortex was a true emperor. Young one, leave the ancient coffin and the chaotic divine lamp behind, and I shall spare your life today. A pair of golden eyes flickered to life within the vortex. Speaking with imperious authority, you claim to be an emperor, yet you hide in the shadows. To me, you are not but a mere rodent. Confronted by the imperial might, Ji Xian not only felt no fear, but retorted with words of defiance. What audacity, a saintly realm cultivator daring to challenge an emperor. I shall send you on your way. The entity within the whirlpool extended a silver hand, launching itself at Ji Xian with lethal intent. The silver hand appeared ethereal, as if it had emerged from the primordial chaos, its palms swirling with countless radiant lights, as though nurturing an entire world. What does it matter if the ancient emperor existed? Who dares to claim invincibility? Who proclaims themselves undefeated? Ji Xian's countenance remained steadfast and heroic, standing tall in the air with utmost majesty. Kong Tong seal. Despite his bravado, he did not dare to overestimate his strength. A crimson seal shot forth, transforming through several stages into a towering divine mountain. The mountain was immensely heavy, and upon its appearance, it instantaneously created a colossal pit on the surface of the sea beneath. The silver hand was instantly bound, immobilized in its tracks. How could you possibly possess a celestial artifact? The emperor within the vortex was taken aback. Such treasures were beyond the grasp of many ancient clans. How could this saintly realm cultivator wield one? To brazenly summon a celestial artifact like this. Even if I cannot kill you today, there shall be no place for you in the realms of heaven and earth. The golden eyes of the emperor blazed with fury, a murderous intent radiating from him. Why waste words? Witness my blade. Ji Xian brandished the recently acquired 6th-grade celestial artifact, the starry divine dragon spear. Positioning it in the air, and with a swift kick, propelled it forth. The spear morphed into an ethereal blue dragon, enshrouded in resplendent starlight. The dragon lunged forward, piercing through the silver hand in an instant. A wail of agony echoed from the vortex as the silver hand shattered. A cascade of silver blood raining down into the boundless divine sea, evaporating the surrounding waters for miles in a heartbeat. Such was the might of an emperor. Even a mere drop of blood could obliterate an expanse of the world. Another celestial artifact? Who are you truly? The day's events had brought forth an overwhelming surprise for the emperor. Ji Xian remained silent, coldly gazing at the vortex, resembling a sovereign defending his territory. Exuding an aura of solemn majesty. Thousands of miles away, the various cultivators plotting their escape were rendered speechless, their mouths agape in disbelief. What had they witnessed? An imperial battle. The suddenly emerging man in white had single-handedly crushed the hand of an emperor. Could he be a hidden emperor himself? Having already been defeated, how could he not retreat? Am I truly destined to slay an emperor today? Ji Xian roared, brandishing his sword and soaring into the fray. You audacious wretch! Were it not for the constraints imposed upon me by the great Emperor Kunpeng with the wheel of yin and yang, how could I possibly find myself at a disadvantage against you? The mighty emperor roared with a voice laden with indignation, utterly unyielding to the outcome of this battle. Having attained the status of an emperor for several millennia, he found himself overwhelmed by a mere saintly realm cultivator. "Xiong!" cried Ji Xian, "I am here." With a commanding presence, he invoked the myriad swords to return to their origin. The sword goddess royal physique activated, unleashing thousands of sword shadows that cascaded like autumn rain, forming a resplendent river of blades. Ji Xian exerted every ounce of his being, the terrifying sword intent surging forth like colossal waves howling across the ocean. Bang, bang, bang. The black vortex was instantly dispersed by the torrent of sword energy, leaving behind only eerie wisps of dark aura. "Youngster, do you dare reveal your name? Upon my arrival at Wanyao Prefecture, I shall surely raise your mountain gate and leave a trail of corpses for miles." The emperor, filled with resentment, found himself compelled to withdraw, thwarted by the interference of another formidable emperor. What an audacious organization to still claim power in secrecy. "I am Ji Xian, the leader of the Xintian Dao sect. Should you dare approach, I will eradicate every last one of the intruders from the Dark Mountain." Clad in flowing white robes, with his raven hair billowing, Ji Xian's aura was at its zenith. This was the first time he had earnestly engaged in battle. Should he unleash all his prowess? Even if he could not slay that emperor, he could surely peel away a layer of his skin. The black vortex gradually dissipated, signaling the victory of this confrontation. Cultivators from various clans, thousands of miles away, stood frozen in disbelief. Someone had actually repelled an invading emperor. More alarmingly, the white-clad figure had proclaimed himself as Ji. The elders turned pale. The Ji family's forces had long since retreated, yet such a figure had emerged. It seemed the rumors concerning the Ji family were indeed true. The 3,000 Dao states were on the brink of upheaval, lamented an ancient demon. Meanwhile, with a swift motion, Ji Xian summoned the lotus lamp that soared towards him. What kind of treasure was this lamp that warranted the personal intervention of an emperor for its retrieval? He was filled with curiosity. Swish. At the moment the lotus lamp was activated, a blue lotus seed emerged from the wick, its surface adorned with chaotic patterns, exuding an aura of mystery. A chaotic lotus seed? Ji Xian gasped in astonishment. This was an essential treasure for condensing a chaotic body. Suddenly, a faint heartbeat resonated from within. Alive? Ji Xian was startled and hastily infused his consciousness into it. In an obscure chaotic space, he beheld a woman in a blue robe collapsed on the ground. Her aura faint and delicate. Surrounding her was an overwhelming flow of pure chaotic energy. A chaotic body at the Saint Master realm, Ji Xian murmured softly. Being well-versed in the Tao patterns of chaos, he was intimately familiar with the power of this origin. System, is this individual a potential disciple? He pondered, feeling an affinity for talent. The chaotic physique was immensely powerful. If he could bring her under his wing, he would gain an additional formidable ally. Affirmative. The system replied without hesitation. What of the task? No updates? The timing is not yet ripe, the system responded. Very well, Ji Xian conceded. Thus far, this journey has been quite fulfilling. He prepared to return to his sect, retrieving both the emperor's coffin and the lotus lamp, along with the dismembered remains of the emperor's corpse. A peculiar disturbance rippled across the nearby sea, heralding the sudden appearance of an elderly man clad in a robe of black and white. Ji Xian, sensing an inexplicable awareness, turned to behold the figure. I have encountered you before, my friend. I am deeply grateful for your assistance this time, he expressed. The elder nodded in acknowledgement and swiftly vanished into the waves. With determined strides, Ji Xian approached the concealed demonic cultivators lurking at a distance. Goodness, he is advancing toward us. We witnessed him repel the emperor. He must be intent on silencing us. A trembling demon cultivator murmured in trepidation. Silence. Cease your foolish chatter. A venerable demon quickly admonished. For Ji Xian had already approached their midst. Esteemed elder, I am Qing Yunsheng, the ancestor of the Qingjiao clan. He introduced himself, bowing deeply. Soon after, several other demon dignitaries approached to pay their respects, each exhibiting profound reverence. Having witnessed Ji Xian's formidable prowess, they could not help but harbor a sense of awe. I am Ji Xian, the leader of the Xintian Dao sect. The force that dared to invade is from the Ming Mountain across the indeterminate Divine Sea, and I have successfully repelled them. There is no cause for concern today. Ji Xian stood tall and composed, exuding an air of unyielding confidence, entirely devoid of any signs of fatigue from battle. Thank you, venerable elder, for your assistance. The demon cultivators collectively bowed in gratitude. However, Ji Xian continued. This incursion from Ming Mountain was merely a preliminary probe. Further actions will undoubtedly follow. The expression of Qing Yunsheng darkened with worry. If they deployed an emperor-level entity for their initial test, how shall we withstand their future assaults? Please, esteemed elder, provide us with guidance. He once again performed a deep bow, burying his head in the earth. It is quite simple. The entirety of the myriad demon state must submit to my Xintian Dao sect. When the time of great peril arrives, I shall offer you protection. Of course, I shall not coerce you. You will have a month or two to ponder this matter. Ji Xian's proposition was also motivated by the safety of the Xintian Dao sect. Given that Huangzhou lay adjacent to myriad demon state, if the latter were to fall, Huangzhou would similarly face doom. Upon hearing this, the demons nodded in agreement. Ji Xian then noticed something amiss and cast his gaze beyond Qin Yunsheng. There, he spotted a dragon of the Saint Lord realm, reminiscent of one seen within the Fire Dragon tomb. It is time to depart, he declared, turning to summon Sun Huowang and Ao Tian from miles away. Ao Tian, what has happened to your face? Ji Xian inquired, lifting Ao Tian's chin to examine both sides. I bumped it, Ao Tian replied, visibly puffed up, casting a glare at Sun Huowang. Sun Huowang, clutching an iron rod, evaded Ao Tian's gaze while humming a cheerful tune. Realizing the cause of Ao Tian's predicament, Ji Xian extended his hand. With a resounding thwack, he delivered a playful slap to Sun Huowang, who had no time to react before being plunged headfirst into the ground. Huh, look at you now. Ao Tian erupted into laughter, occasionally making faces at the unfortunate Sun Huowang. Ao Tian, come here, Ji Xian called out. Coming, my lord, Ao Tian exclaimed, his short legs scampering with excitement. Witnessing Sun Huowang's misfortune brought him immense joy. Ji Xian pulled him aside, gesturing toward Qin Yunsheng's companion, Qing Han. Is this what you referred to as the Fire Dragon tomb being thoroughly cleaned? Ah, my lord, allow me to explain. With that, Ji Xian departed, leaving the demons to bid him farewell along his journey. On a solitary mound of earth, 2 green onions were inserted upright. Chapter 111. Returning to the sect, the world in turmoil. In Huangzhou, at the foot of Jinyun Mountain, a thunderous sound resonated from above the clouds as a golden ancient war chariot descended gracefully. Coming to a halt before the gates of the Xiantian Dao sect, Ji Xian stepped out of the chariot with deliberate ease. Behind him, Sun Huowang and Ao Tian found themselves simultaneously wedged in the doorway. You stubborn monkey, move aside, let me go first. Ao Tian gritted his teeth, attempting to push Sun Huowang towards the rear of the carriage. You slippery eel, let me out first. Sun Huowang retorted sharply. Ji Xian, feeling somewhat irritable, scratched the back of his ear. The two had been bickering for over a month. With a swift motion, he waved his hand, instantly retracting the ancient chariot into his sleeve. Where's the chariot? The two exchanged bewildered glances, yet before they could fully comprehend the situation, they both tumbled to the ground with a thud. Damn it, your monkey butt is on my face. All right, silence. Return to the sect, Ji Xian said nonchalantly. The two immediately separated and stepped forward in unison. Within the outer courtyard of the sect, an array of spoils sent from the other great sects of Huangzhou was displayed prominently. Ji Xian surveyed the collection briefly before gathering it all. Gazing up at the towering Jinyun Mountain, he grasped the two and soared towards the direction of the immortal city. At the peak of the Sea of Clouds, a magnificent celestial city stood, radiating ethereal brilliance. Lines of celestial cranes, imbued with the aura of the immortal way, flapped their wings as they glided across the horizon. A vast river, wide as 1,000 zhang, flowed from the city, cascading down Jinyun Mountain, resembling a grand inverted galaxy. Moreover, 2 white jade qilins stood atop the mountain, drawing in the essence of the sun and moon, their bodies exuding an auspicious imperial aura. Wow! Ao Tian and Sun Huowang exclaimed in unison, awestruck by the spectacle before them, feeling as if they were living in a dream. Even in my wildest dreams could I not have imagined such a place. This time, Ao Tian did not retort, equally astonished as he gazed at the immortal city. During his previous outing, he was unaware of the city's existence. In a daze, the group had already entered the city. The 2 white jade qilins swiftly appeared before Ji Xian, nudging their enormous heads against his palm. Huowang, your dragon essence fruit. Ji Xian retrieved the primordial purple gold gourd, pouring out a crimson fruit and handing it to Sun Huowang. The fruit, though small, shimmered with a crystalline brilliance, akin to a precious gem. Sun Huowang trembled with excitement as he reached out to accept it. Ding! A dragon essence fruit of the immortal medicine has been detected, triggering a return of 1,520,000 times. Obtained immortal medicine, dragon essence X1. A crimson ribbon of essence appeared within Ji Xian's system space, presenting a solid liquid form. Waves of true dragon energy emanated from it, exuding an overwhelming dominance. Indeed, a treasure cultivated by the true dragon clan. Ji Xian noted the eager expression on Ao Tian's face and decided to slice off a small portion of the dragon essence to bestow upon him. Thank you, young master. Why does this thing have such a rich dragon aura? Ao Tian inquired, leaning closer to sniff the essence. You too, select a location to establish a cave dwelling. You shall cultivate within the inner sect from now on, Ji Xian instructed, turning his back to them. Ao Tian's eyes sparkled with excitement, as he had already set his sights on a particular spot. Woohoo! Long live the young master. He transformed into his true form and soared towards a towering giant tree. Sun Huowang hastily departed, seeking a place that resonated with his heart. Ji Xian turned away from the white jade qilin and entered the imperial palace, preparing to dedicate himself to a period of profound cultivation. At this moment, the Xiantian Dao sect was enveloped in an atmosphere of profound tranquility and harmony. However, beyond its borders, the world was already rife with tumult and upheaval. The news of Ji Xian's solitary confrontation with the emperor spread like wildfire across the 3,000 states. leaving many cultivators in awe of the emperor's emergence, believing it to be a harbinger of an impending era of great conflict. Yet, a considerable number harbored skepticism. When the emperor refrained from intervening, he did so without consequence. But once he took action, it would inevitably result in the obliteration of an entire realm. The disturbances in Guanyao Prefecture, affecting merely the coastal expanse of several thousand miles, were of a magnitude that even ordinary saint-level beings could achieve, thus failing to align with the legendary might attributed to the emperor. Furthermore, news of the emergence of the Ming Mountain lineage spread with astonishing swiftness. Ming Mountain is a realm among the 9 heavens and 10 earths, renowned as one of the most enigmatic places in this world. Typically, it operates under a cloak of discretion, with scarce information about this power circulating, and few Ming Mountain cultivators seen traversing the mortal realm. Yet, its status remains exalted, and none dare to underestimate it. Some assert that Ming Mountain serves as the final